And we're live. Hey, what's up guys? James here, back again with some more Arknights today. Yeah. We're gonna be on an Arknights train for a while because we still have story to finish. And it's an event, so yeah. Anyways, last time we left off, we were on 14.5. And that was, and that was with W just found the ruins of the commissary ruins. Yeah, and found the assassins that had killed Teresa. So we're gonna investigate that. And Ursula ran away because she's connected with the skeleton ship, whatever it is. So yeah, hopefully we'll see her again. I don't know. We probably will. She'll be back. Let's continue with this. We'll get some character development with W. I mean, we're gonna get some character development with W throughout the entire this chapter, I assume, because Wizard will be the thing. So yeah. Anyway, but the storm expands. Oh. Okay. I don't want the storm to expand. XSP or actually Seal 3 is better. Yeah, this is probably fine. Let's go with that. Africa. Hey, stay still. Let's run for it. What are you talking about? Haven't you noticed? The mercenaries that are under that W are all gone. Military Commission's troops must have revived. All the more reason to not run and get caught in the crossfire. Don't forget it was the Military Commission that hired us. If they've come, it's curtains for the guys here. We'll make a run for it now. We still explain things to General Manfred. You want to go back to him? We'll just send you back to Victoria to kill more people. Is that what you want? You think we have a choice? What do you think the general will do to us when he finds out that we surrendered? I'll run errands if they tell me to run errands. I'll kill if they tell me to kill. Whatever it takes to survive. You want to stay? That's your choice. I'm going. Goodbye. I should have gotten some water. I'll only need to get some water refill later. 50 hours into the operation. Aren't you the lucky one, Major Ursula? It's not every day that you get to lose a critical objective, be captured by the enemy and still make it back in one piece. Looks like you got along well with your old Scar Market buddies. What's your turn, Naxara? It's not your place to judge my failure. Regardless of the circumstances, Major Ursula's survival is good news for the Military Commission. General Manfred, hi. I know about the Sanglan's death. You can explain later. As for now, I hope you've returned to something of value. I have the skeleton's location, and details about the mercenaries guarding it. That's all? Sounds like it would have been more worth it had stayed in the hands of those mercenaries. I want to hear what you think. The mercenaries are trying to reawaken the ferment skeleton. Whatever their plans are has something to do with them. I don't know what they're plotting, but I don't have a lot of people guarding the skeleton for some reason. Third row among them. Yes. It's around the canyon. Take back the spine, no matter the cost. Yes, sir. General Manfred, for the upcoming battle. You won't be needed. Stay in the rear. Yes, sir. As a precaution, may I ask, what are your plans if we're unable to take back the skeleton quickly? I don't enjoy such hypotheticals, Ursula. Fred's troops are here. They're a little earlier than expected. What about the Royal Quartzmen? Nothing for Ursula. She got away. My fault. Talk about this later. Where's W? She went out to scout the battlefield. Worst case scenario, she'll run into the enemy before we do. They've also got back to Manfred. They may have information on our current location and defenses. We're significantly outnumbered. A prolonged fight doesn't favor us. It's been 50 years since the Doctor's team set up. Any news? Nothing. We have to hold out until the agreed time. Given our odds, the only way to hold off the military commission for a day is if they were struck by catastrophe. But as things stand, even catastrophes aren't at their command. The military commission won't let this weapon fall into our hands and threaten their area of supremacy. They'll come at us with everything they have. We'll have to take the chance. What do you mean? The chance that Manfred doesn't want to destroy the skeleton either. I hope you really know that Manfred as well as you think you do. One last question. What happens if we don't get word from the Doctor when the agreed time has passed? Then we abandon the skeleton. There's no point fighting to death. Evacuation comes first. Our main priority is always to keep as many people alive as we can. Reasonable. No objections. There's another way that might delay the Royal Quartz attack. Killing their commander. Askel. Agreed. I'll kill him. It's freezing. I don't want to admit it, I can feel my heart race. Damn, stop trembling. It's just like that time when I had to face Tallulah alone, and even worse. This strange figure must be the mastermind of those monsters and this realm, yet I sense no hostility from him. It's as if my presence is not worth his attention. He just keeps hacking at the crystallized bones with his axe, without even looking my way. Did he kill all those people? My finger on my trigger. But I can't move an inch. Pull yourself together, W. Haven't you seen your fair share of monsters by now? Find out who he is, what this cavern has to do with Teresa. Pry it out of his mouth if that's what it takes. I don't have time to waste on you, sorry piece of wood. A few questions, and your answers will decide whether my next move is to throw bombs at your face or not. It's Confessorius Altar. Are you Confessorius? The relentless and haunting sound of an axe striking bone echoes through the cavern, as if carrying the weight of errors forgotten. He slowly opens his mouth to speak. I am a servant of Quisartusaj, King of Sarkaz. The bloodline of the king preserves through life and death. If he who serves the King of Sarkaz is a Confessorius, then a Confessorius I am. So you can talk. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself before I shoot. What is this place? What does it have to do with the Confessorius? Claw, good claw. The key. But this key opens no door. Not anymore. Now I am merely the warden of this deep dark tomb. What are you talking about? A tomb? For who? The countless heroes of Castle, and the foes who died at their hands. The Grave Bearer, the Magnificent Eight, the Brave 11. All have fallen in the course of history, and I have buried many of them. Here lies their weapons and armor, remnants of the past. You must be joking. You knew all these people? Don't tell me you're as ancient as that old hag. I don't know why you old freaks keep clinging to the past. Going to let yesterday's bad jam stop you from eating today? Okay, I need to workshop that. emerged from that epoch of heroes, becoming the new hope of the Sarkaz, time and again. But all of them failed, joining the ashes and dust in this tomb. You stand upon the sword of Quillan, the wrathful Gleam flame. Rhesus left it here, because he refused to use it. Still, it is not proper to step upon it. Quillan? Isn't he a character in myths and legends? You're not playing me for a fool, are you? Yeah, I took a step back without even realizing it. Why should I believe him? Why shouldn't I step on Quillan's sword, even if it was real? I have answered your questions, now you should answer mine. Why do you trespass upon this place? The axe swings again. The shockwave always makes W take another step back. I'm here to pick a fight with the commissary. What's that altar used for? Tell me or else. The mission of this altar has ended. No one visits this place anymore, except fools who stumble upon it. That strange fellow answered all my questions with flat interest. Clearly he'd rather return to his work with the axe than engage with me. I've lashed out at him, but my anger was met with no response. It's like throwing stones into a bottomless pit. What do you mean? He's not with the commissary. Shouldn't he have come after me with these axe the moment the words left my mouth? Hey, I'm talking to you. Smoke clears, but the gaunt figure remains upright. I didn't think I could take him out with a single bomb. Seriously, not even a scratch? Utah. This vessel will never change again. A failed vessel that has been denied both eternal life as the instrument of the crown's coming, and the sweet release of death. So you're one of the commissary's failed experiments too. You feel bad for yourself? Free from your suffering. It is but futile. The man swings his stone axe and bats away W's bomb, as though swatting away a fly. Good, I got a response from him. That means there's a chance. 3, 2. The bomb falls exactly where I expected it to. A section of the cavern collapses, trapping him beneath, but not enough to kill him. I point my gun at his head. You said the commissary made you indestructible? Let's see if I can't blow a hole in your brain at this range. Commissary liked their experiments, didn't they? Did you guys make those big-head moths? Disgusting dead monsters. Cut the poetry and answer my questions. Do you know Teresa? The exiled one has had the honor of seeing that king of Sarkaz. This is where the tragic king was reborn. This is the place. How did they do it? The commissary brought the king's bloody body back and cut her soul from the myriad, but she was already entwined within the myriad and could no longer exist as herself. W turns around toward the altar in the center of the cavern. The menacing building looks unnerving and smells faintly of blood. What happened here? I dare not think about it, but I can't stop myself. Why? The president of Sarkaz needed her to die. The future of Sarkaz needed her to live. As the king of Sarkaz, she gave her all, her spirit and her wisdom, her blood and her bone. You followed the king's path as a former subject, but she is no longer the one you knew. I saw her awakening, the sorrow on her face. I saw the weight on her soul, her eternal torment. Enough. Shut up. She was a sacrifice to the myriad souls, to Kazdal, to all the past and future Sarkaz. I said shut up! Bad enough. Kelsey, Doctor, Priestess, all of you. All of you have your big dreams and ambitions. You talk about doing great things. But did it change anything in the end? People keep dying. The people who should die. People who shouldn't. And the people who really shouldn't. And you won't even let her have her final rest. To hell with the myriad souls and suffering of the Sarkaz. Why should a person have to bear all this burden? All of you can go to hell. I'll blow this place. This is the place of her desecration to oblivion. Dust fills the entire cavern. The decrepit ornaments lie in ruins, yet the explosions are not enough to quench her anger. In the deepest reaches of the cavern, a lone altar resembling a door remains. What is this? Your Highness? W pushes the door open. Into battle. Alright, if the altar's gonna stay there, it can stay there. What are these things? Let's check them out.
誰を餌にするか決まり、絶望の匂いまでカムフラージュできないわ。みんな安心して戦って。私がついてるから。
Textile art damage when inside rigid in pollution. Alright.
かの深き海より参りました。どうすればいいかくらいわかるわ。私に命令しないで。わあ、みんなこっち来て。影すら捕らえさせない。ここからは私の独奏。
Oh, okay, that is in range of a tornado.
少々は恋にいられてなる。
わあ、リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。火山の煙や粉塵には大量のオリジニウム粒子が。ここでは何も起きて指定の位置に向かう。
Range? It is.
どうすればいいかくらいわかるわ。私に命令しない。わあ、見ちゃうところだった。先輩、どうかご心配なく。
挽歌が聞こえる。
Oh, okay, so that's... It just expanded.
記憶に残るのはこの刃の切れ味だけだ。
Going that way.
任せて。
Oh shit, it's gone. It fucking disappeared. What the fuck?
獲物はどれです機材の準備は万全。先輩、どうかご心配なく。怪人は生命の育み、シンバを動かせ。汚れをすすぐもの。気をつけなさい。この海流は脆弱な命を飲み込みますわ。何を片付ければいい。指定の位置に向かう。
Hey. Fun. There goes S1 base. It's so good. But yeah, I'm about to die. Because this thing could... It didn't die, it moved. Why did it... Huh? It disappeared and then it respawned. What the fuck? Found you. Crazy. You're crazy, just like they said. I'm glad you already know. Then you must already also know what I'd do to those who won't tell me what I want to know. Now talk. What are you people planning around Castor? What's behind this overly simple operation? Don't act like I'm stupid just because I don't care about all the ins and outs of Teresa's giving up Castor. You didn't break free of my witchcraft. How long do you think you can last? Until you beg for your death on your knees and spit out everything you know. Huh. Mercenary. You think you're the special one that gets to live. Everyone does, until death finally comes for them. Death forgets no one. The myriad souls are waiting. You won't escape, and neither will she. It's all futile. What about you? Me? I'm happy to embrace my death. Say goodbye to weakness, Sarkaz. A new era has dawned. It belongs to us. Even if there's no place for me in us. W! Your hand! Medic! We need a medic over here! Damn, he triggered the grenade. With the Sarkaz's death, his art cease. The mire fades and the stench of decay dissipates. Yet why does the wilderness surround them remain so dark? A sense of unease deepens. The expression on the Sarkaz warriors as they died was one of devotion. Or would such an expression appear on the faces of men like them? You wouldn't get in touch with the HQ. Intra-squad communication has been partially restored. Heavy interference still prevents us from reaching headquarters though. It's possible that originating activity is spreading in the area. No need to worry though. We haven't heard about any attacks on HQ. Plus they have Her Highness and her doctor there. One step away from winning this war. Where's the vehicle? We're going back now. Well, we haven't received further instructions. We could upset the doctor's plans if we move without orders. Is this at the time when Teresa's getting assassinated? Huh. Wait, I'm getting a message. It's from Scout. Scout says, Babel is merely a temporary refuge. No different from the countless others before it, or so W had believed. Sure, there was always clean food and water. The badly wounded were not just left to die. And there were a few interesting guys around. At the end of the day, it was all the same. Just a place to stay. It was not the first time W had lost her home, which joined up with her Inez. Sometimes she would return to camp and find it in flames. Sometimes she was the one who set it on flame. It was what she used to do. She was used to. No Sarkaz truly believed in peace and quiet. Destruction was the norm. Conflict was the spice of life. When she saw the collapsed columns, the blood stains in the corridors, and the doctors yelling instructions, for the first time she felt a profound sense of collapse. What happened? Out of the way! Out of the way! Make way for the wounded! Make room in the sick bay! Out of the way! Where's Her Highness? No idea. All security systems have failed. Dr. Kelsey is... Look out! Did you do this? Sarkaz. It's over. Don't say it. Let's see. Her blood was no different from ours. You. Everything turns dark once more, like a curse that refuses to lift. Darkness engulfs the light, consuming it completely. No one can escape the night. The war is over, along with the strife. Listen, Sarkaz. Victory belongs to... Blade penetrates the assassin's chest. Babel didn't give you any orders, W. What are you doing here? You want to talk to me about filing your orders, now? Ascalon looks at her. W had worked with Ascalon for a while now, but this is the first time she saw that look on her face. That look in her eyes. She didn't even know that Ascalon was capable of such sorrow. Is what Scout said true? You shouldn't have come back. Not now. Where's Her Highness? Sweep the ship, W. Red's Island is not out of danger yet. Dr. Kelsey is busy dealing with emergencies. We're the only ones. I'm asking you, where is Teresa? Go to the mobility level. That's the most likely port of entry. You bloody deaf! You said she's dead. I want to see with my own eyes. Listen to me, Sarkaz Mercenary W. Fulfill your duty. unless you want Babel to fall, and all their efforts to be for naught. Ah. You're worthless. All of you, worthless. Why did I ever trust you? Why did I ever believe you could? Nothing's changed. Nothing ever did. All high and mighty, were they not? Everyone on the ship. Didn't they spend all their time talking about their dreams, all their lofty ideals? And why couldn't they even protect one person? All the things they've said, things that I thought could be. I was the fool I believed. I saw it. The blood and footprints in the chairman's room. There was nothing else left. It was like nothing was ever there. The darkness was thick and sticky. It always is. Teresa is dead. And I didn't even get to see her one last time. Your Highness? What are you doing here? The door's still... When did it get fixed? Guess closure's good for something after all. The old hag too. Red's Island stayed together, barely, after you were gone. She did her best. Said did a little bunny. I did my part too. I wanted to see you again. Ever since I got to Londinium, I've wondered when I could. I never understood. Why did you always put yourself through so much? Just like how I never understood why you cared so much about that broken door. Teresa is gone. What? Then who's standing right there? No, I must be dreaming. Why would Her Highness talk to me? Am I talking to myself? But the work of the Sarkaz is not done. I will give myself to our cause. For a future where all of us can sleep without fear. I don't understand, but I believe you. What about you then? Teresa turns around and pushes the door. It opens. Teresa walks through the door, followed by countless silhouettes. Their voices booming, their questions piercing. The Sarkaz will never be saved. No one can escape suffering, for we had once suffered. No one can escape hatred, for we had once hated. All the senseless deaths, all the shattered hopes. Where is paradise? Where is peace? Fraser's steps are slow and heavy. W opens her mouth. What should she say? What could she say? She finally realizes that it was not a conversation she had just experienced, but an echo of Teresa. But she could not resist asking the shadow. How can I save you, Your Highness, if you're still alive? Keep going. You will go further than I ever have. How will I know when I've gone far enough? If I killed you, will you be saved? There is no answer. Teresa does not turn back. Neither do the silhouettes. Their footsteps are slow, but their direction remains unwavering. Teresa walks further into the light, almost out of sight. Your Highness! W finally lets out what she's been holding back. Screw the myriad souls. Screw their sufferings. I'll bring peace back to you. Maybe you've never had true peace. Screw it. I'll end it all. For you, Your Highness. You see Teresa stop for a brief moment. W isn't sure. He shimmers and blends into the light. Darkness returns once more. What was that? You heard the king's echo. You're alive? Colored Claw appears behind W without her realizing. Neither the bombs nor the falling rocks left a mark on him. He comes up beside W and gently closes the door. Her Highness has left. How could you be so calm when I just blew up your home? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If destruction is inevitable, why despair when it comes? You don't let things get to you, I'll give you that. Honestly, I'm starting to find you interesting. Aren't you supposed to be really powerful? Didn't any of the kings of Sarkas try to send you to do something useful? The one I serve, Gusar Saj, transcends history itself. He is the colossal titan in the vast river of time. I followed him in his wars. My sword an instrument of death to his command, but my body a failed vessel at extending his life. Yes, even the craziest among us have their loyalists. The experiment failed. Unable to fulfill my destined purpose, I banished myself to this realm. I am of no use, fit only to gather the remnants of bygone heroes and mourn the past. I have been waiting for someone to open the door to the future. I thought Teresa would be the one to do so. You. The gaunt figure picks up the broken altar fragments on the ground and grinds them into fine dust. He trails the powder down his cheeks with his fingers, creating two streaks that resemble tears. Her Highness Teresa is gone. You have picked up her last echo. The King of Sarkaz's old subject. Your presence here may not be a coincidence, young Sarkaz. Hey, Mousy Mouse. What's up, man? How you doing? You know what? I think so too. Got to leave a souvenir in the commissary's nest. Kolikoa looks down to find several bombs at his feet. Why did you? You know what? Of all the old freaks I've met, you're one of the more interesting ones. I couldn't leave a commissary without leaving a present behind. What is your name, mercenary? Find it on Teresa's tombstone. Oh, she absolutely is going to kill Teresa's.
仲間たちの自信は我々が勝ち取ったものだ。先に続く茨の道を行くための貴重な勝利となるだろう。
Do not lose heart, have a grim situation. 4 tiles no longer available for deployment. Does it actually show us the difference? I think it didn't have band tiles last time. Anyway. Okay, so... blue box. Alright. And we've got Originium tiles. These things. Let's check out the enemies here. These things are new. Caustic Originium Slug. Upon death deals physical damage and area causes Originium pollution. Oh. Increases the strength of active Originium Storm when consumed by it. Oh! That's why it got stronger! Oh, okay. I see! Well, that makes sense now. So if the storm eats these stupid fucking slugs, it gets bigger. No wonder. Wait, picks up nearby beacons if not carrying a beacon and drops them on death. Oh, that's why there was another... That's why it disappeared. And that's why it appeared again. Oh. Oh, okay, so they can move the altars too. Oh, alright. Well then. Okay. That's not good. So really, I want to kill them from range.
Doctor の部隊補佐として訓練に参加しますわ。
私に任せなくていいの？
You see your module again. I think this Fire's module, we actually needed to max this out for traits, is it? Yeah, max it out for 2 coins. That's it. No, I'm fucking nuts. Fuck it, I'll do it. Need 3 of these, yeah? Thing is though, I don't actually use my Swire all that much, so this might be useless, but whatever. I need 5 of these. Who silvers? Let's go with that. "58 hours into the operation. How are we supposed to fight these guys when our equipment doesn't even come close to this? Evacuate, now! Lifeboat signal is strong. We have a good fix on its location. Forward! Scoutcasters, advance! Yeah, enemies! It's Ines. In formation, watch for ambush. Infantry, form a line. Casters, provide cover. Royal Court elites under Manfred's direct command. A lot of them. A heavy firepower though. I can at least slow them down. Herder was right. Ursula knows our defenses are weak, and she'll tell Manfred. We can use this to our advantage. The military commission won't allow Lifeboat to fall into enemy hands. Manfred will destroy it if he had no other choice. Draw them in. Avoid direct confrontation. Manfred will be cautious about the use of heavy weapons, as long as he thinks there's a chance to retake the skeleton intact. That gives us a chance to buy time. With enough time, there's a sliver of hope. Had better work, Herder. What's this bothersome shadow? Arknights. Mercenaries are just mercenaries. Maybe you could hold your own in a one-to-one fight, small scale competitions. But where did you find the nerve to fight a real war? I've always been curious. What made mercenaries like you choose to become enemies of the military commission? The shadow blends into the vast darkness, yet not enough to escape the decay that closely follows. We have intel of a merc that can manipulate the shadows. Are you Ines? An outsider dressing herself up as a Sarkaz, participating in wars of the Sarkaz. What are you, a Sarkaz fangirl? I become less interested when the Sarkaz talk too much. Shadows erupt from beneath the Naxara, morphing into sharp blades that streak towards her chest, only to tear through layers of tattered cloth. The Noxora's ribbons are wrapped tightly around the Shadow's blades, until they shatter and disintegrate. The Noxora's knife presses against Innes's throat. Nice party trick, not enough to take me down a real soldier though. Amateur. Consider yourself lucky that I don't approve of the Sanguinarch's methods. New era for the Sarkaz is dawning. Mercenaries like you who strayed from the path should get a second chance. Are you the leader of this rebel? I'm Lieutenant General Nadine, General Manfred's deputy, and I offer you a chance to surrender. I suggest you take it. Huh. Yeah, look scared. Scared of what? A wet behind the ear rookie is on the real battlefield for the first time? What did you say? I know your type. You got into the military commissions academy because of your royal court bloodline. Studied a few theories, and got promoted to staff officer as soon as you graduated. Sorry to say, but real war is a bit harder than those exams you passed. You'll pay the price for your futile taunting. It's not futile if it distracts you. Who's the amateur now, Lieutenant General? Ooh, yeah! Yeah, this thing packs a punch. That heap of deadwood wasn't lying. She also changed her outfit to Wizard Elves, huh? How'd you know I was coming? I could smell the explosives from a mile away. Oh yeah? Guess we're starting to build chemistry. I'd rather not have my brain cells mixed with your bomb-blasted ones. Thank you very much. Enough small talk. How many did the military commission send? I'll blow them all the way back to Castle. Where did you go? And what's with the outfit change? Did I roll for a new Aoi? I did. I only got one copy of Aoi, which is fine because I didn't really want Higuchi. Yeah. Garb was a little frayed, so I had to improvise. You'd never believe what I ran into out there. Hey, what's up, Festoa? How you doing? You're tough for a heap of deadwood. If I can't blow you up, at least I'll blast all this stuff. These weapons and armor are relics of great Sarkaz heroes. Your weapons will not harm them. I was hyped for the new Higuchi, but after looking at the skills on the stream, it was pretty sad. Yeah. The design's pretty cool. It's cool that she's a healer, but the fact that she doesn't actually have a normal heal, like just a regular heal skill or like a full heal, yeah, full heal, kinda, it's not that good. Tried a 310 CQ today, but realized I can't. Sag. Rip. I think it's also a problem that she can't use the skill from her second style as well. One that everyone uses if they're using Higuchi, so that kind of sucks. Aoi seems good though. The new class is interesting. I haven't tested it yet though. So you're saying these things are blast proof? Alright, don't mind if I do. Better for them to get some sunshine with me than rotten here. Young mercenary, you should respect the Sarkaz heroes. What's going on? Where's Manfred? I can use a targeted trap on new gear. Don't be hasty. You ruin our plan if you make too much of a scene. So, her new gear is from the commissary tomb. Oh, wow. Need evil trait damage, but only that quick assassin has it. What's the new CQ on anyway? Why? Does Herder have some trick up his sleeve again? You have squandered your only chance to live. You refused to join the military commission. Now you will fuel the war. The sound of fighting. Things are going smoothly, sir. We haven't run into much resistance. The mercenaries are no match for us, but it'll be difficult to stop them from destroying Lifeburn out of desperation. No, they won't do it. This book has no ending. It's just a manuscript from an unknown writer. hardly worth your attention, General. Remember you, veteran. You like reading? Not just any book, but the kind that promotes sort of pessimism towards war. I need to justify your reading interests. Be honest with me, mercenary. What ending would you write if you were the author? The hero returns home, not a death in battle. A warrior should think of more than his home in battle. The one you fight Ryder Camilla Space Station. Summer Ishtar? What's the Space Ishtar? With 4 coins enemies. Probably Summer Ishtar. Okay. I kinda remember it. What homes should he think of then? Your empathy is admirable. Pardon my impudence. Sentimentality is a necessary trait in an author. But indecision is the worst trait in a soldier. I understand. You get buff if you kill any coin enemies. So you need to kill the coins to be able to kill them. I kind of remember that, yeah. Your compassion is the reason I've kept you alive for so long. But you should have gone back to Castle, become a teacher or a farmer, giving up your ludicrous mercenary career. Lifeburn was meant to be a way home for war warriors. Remain vigilant. The beast is more dangerous when cornered. Keep up the pressure. Give them no quarter. Sir, look out! No one sees the smoke coagulate into a blade, as subtly as mist condenses into dew. The soldier beside Manfred throws himself in front of his commander. The blade impales him, delaying it for an instant. Enough for Manfred to draw his sword. You won't. It's Ascalon. It all happens in the blink of an eye. Arts coagulate by Manfred's side, just as he swings his sword upwards. But Ascalon's blade is swifter. His time there is no doubt, no hesitation. Blow long due. The assassin and the general cross blades, severing life and death, and all of their past ties. How to play is let both of them get coins. The coins enemies they want, and they will take more damage as long as they're coined enemies on the field. Right. General. The sword impales Ascalon's shoulder, but the sleeve blade pierces Manfred's heart. Oh, we wanted. So that's why 3 turning his heart. I see. Ugh. You've lived up to your words. As I said I would. If you had made your mind, I would have died at your hand a long time ago. I still have regrets about not killing you the night you left Castle. Farewell. What a shame. I thought you would at least shed a tear. What? You would have recognized us under any other circumstances. It's the Matsi. Quick and direct, weren't you? Did you care too much about him, or too little? Let's see, if you play the how it's supposed to play, it's very easy to move 4 turn. Right. Okay. So if you want a 3 turn, you need to do it without buffs. And that's hard. Yeah. Everything went exactly as Manfred expected. You still don't know Manfred well enough for all the years you've been rivals. But he knows you all too well. We've engaged the royal court on both the north and south sides, and we're pulling back our lines as planned. Everything has gone according to plan so far. Good. Any sign of Manfred? Not yet. He wouldn't be content to just sit in the back and bark orders at a time like this. I hope things go smoothly for Ascalon. No, she won't be coming back. What did you say? What? The fucking Damatsi! You would be here. Manfred. Delay tactics. Do you really think protecting the skeleton will help you turn the tables? Why? I gave you a chance. I gave you far too many chances. You knew the smart thing to do. Once again, you're having sarcasm slaughter sarcasm. Haven't you had enough wars like this? You disappoint me. Their death is not on me, but your naivety. You should have left a long time ago. Isn't this what you had always longed for? Now your mercenaries will die here, as will my soldiers, for something so meaningless. Have you not learned the lessons of civil war? That's why the sarcasm shouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. Haven't we all seen what the civil war became? We lost an entire generation to the civil war, and you're trying to kill more? Nothing will come of this war. This war against all the terror. Something will come of it. Something must. You have seen it already. Just refuse to acknowledge it. To hate and be hated. If that's the military commission's goal, then mission accomplished. Don't you understand? That's the reason I needed you to get out of this. Yes, the civil war cost Kazdor an entire generation, and made you and I the survivors. Murderers who can only live by the sword. Why have you stayed, if you wanted to change all of this? There's so much more you could have done, and should have done. So what if I return to Castle? What happens next? How do I describe the children of the fields? To the children of the fields where their fathers, their mothers, their brothers, and their sisters are buried. How do I make them believe in another future? Hatred is a means to unity, but you cannot let that unity become the spark for new hatred. I can't leave, not while the war continues. Still get buff if you killed with area MP, but both of the bosses will not get defensive debuff because they killed the twins in one. Yeah. Okay, yeah. On the last bar, boss has a gimmick. They can steal all your buffs and you get coin when they attack you. Ah. I can't leave, not while the war continues. So you've chosen to live and die with the war. It would be so much funnier if it was so you've chosen death. In that case, I'll give you the answer. Nah, man, I'm with Hodor on this one. And Fred's the ones attacking. Hodor, you coward. You lack even the courage to keep living. This is what makes you so contemptible. This is what disappoints me so deeply. So you need taunt on second turn to prevent them from stealing a DPS buff. Like there's many taunt damage supports that are really good. You use a taunt C maybe, but they have to RNG the taunt. Okay, so the altar is over there. I wonder fuck are those. Continuously produces a regen pollution around itself. Affected by a regen pollution. Or an active storm. And attacks deal increased arts damage instead. Should have switched logos to skill 3. That Red Saber post on Discord still need RNG. Story sanctions protections are pretty short compared to chapter 13 of Babel event. Well, for the time being, that probably means we just have a lot of battles. Oh, they got terror on their last turn. Jeez.
毎回カウントするなんて誰が言ったのかしら。あ、みんなこっち来て。私を呼び起こしてくださったのはあなたですね。私をここに派遣するのがあんたが遺言の伝達。断る。指定の位置に向かう。ネバナントがまたグーだ。毎回カウントするなんて誰が言ったのかしら。ネバナントがまたグダグダ言ってるわ。あの老いぼれ口が汚いのよ。オリジニウム鉱脈を乗せた溶岩には絶対に近づかないでくださいね。これで前回取り損ねたデータも保管できそうです。怪人は生命を育み、神馬を動かせ、汚れをすすぐもの。遺言の伝達、断る。指定の位置に向かう。ネバナントがまずい分足元を気にしてるのに、たまには上を見てみた方がいいわよ。
Oh, the last one. Okay, whatever.
これで静かになってくれるの。
Seventh batch of the new comm station has been set up. 1/3 of all comms lines are restored. This is back to closure, isn't it? Data from the makeshift catastrophe monitoring stations indicate stabilizing atmospheric Ergenium concentration, or rising underground Ergenium activity. 2 more teams of engineers have arrived at their destination. Continue to eliminate obstacles standing in the way of main fleet. 4 battleships from the Duke of Godden, including the Phyllis, will arrive at the rendezvous point in 15 minutes to join the escort flotilla in after resupply. Joint Command confirms that Wellington reinforcements. You hear those announcements? The Ducal Alliance's forward base is just ahead. Smooth sailing so far. We owe Rhodes Island our thanks for plotting our route. It's not just us who are indebted to them. Also, M90 CE right now, if the logo says trainer in the training room, is cracked. His second effect is so good. Using logos as a trainer? I haven't looked at using logos as a trainer yet, actually. Because up until now, I've just been leveling up logos as skills. I haven't gotten Civilite Eterna yet. Can we drive our tank straight in? Small encounters are one thing. This is one of the main camps of the Ducal Alliance. But the Exemplar's ID code really work? Of course. Please leave trifles like these to me and proceed ahead. Your entrance is always so sudden, Mr. Asher. Looks like you've been keeping an eye on our little procession in the middle of everything else you had to do. There's a group of soldiers up ahead, Vina, plus a few trucks of ammo, gear, and food. Should we just accept it? Could be a trap in these Berks laid for us. Yes, we'll take it. Ideals alone don't win battles. Thank you, Mr. Bellingham. Sincerely this time. You've helped us more than once. Please, don't call me that. I'm perfectly content being the strange man in the hat. It is for the better if you suspect ulterior motives behind my every move. These gifts aren't just for Gibsonham. It's also for everything that Rhodes Island has done. We have sent people to direct civilians to the safe zones. Gifts. Didn't think you engaged in such courtesies. Better than not doing anything, isn't it? You know how Victoria works. The towns around London were not part of the Duke Castor's jurisdiction. Considering the circumstances, however, Her Grace was forced to take certain actions that might perhaps become controversial in the future, in order to provide safe shelters for as many as possible. Enough. I'm not interested in how Duke Caster intends to win people over. Tell me where the Stone of the Sword is, and what's happening at the front lines. No need to rush, Your Royal Highness. The history of the Stone of the Sword is long and complex. Ideally, it would require several dozen photographs, an abundance of literature, and a view cleared for the highest access before I could probably recount these stories. In any case, I will take you to the front personally. If I were you, I would tell the troops to get some rest at the camp, while they still can. You'll learn more about the situation at the camp. Seeing is worth 1,000 words, is it not? Here, I'll help. That's the last crate. Thank you. We're running short on ammo. Logistics team says they'll whip up a bonding meal from the supplies you brought before we head out. Care to join us for a bite? Thanks for the offer, but we got sarcastic scums to kill. We just received orders from command to join up with the assault on Silver Rock Bluffs once we transfer the supplies. Those monsters, Naxura is what they're called. Can't wait to put them down. Look at this, the newest crossbows, AP ammo, precision arts units. This stuff will be rare even in elite units in ordinary times. Well, Iridium protection. Fighting sarcasm isn't just about firepower. No worries. We've been issued a full set of PPE, plus medication. Look. Hey Max. What's up, man? We are doing more reading. Except Private Brown. Get ready to move. Have you oiled your crossbow? I'll oil it with the blood of Sarkas. Hope that blood doesn't stink too much. Good man. Now back to your squad. Are you the commander of this unit? My name's Shira. I served as the medical officer of the Duke of Windermere's flagship. Your soldiers claim they've been issued sufficient Iridium PPE, but... What are you trying to say, Lieutenant? As far as I know, the Duke of Windermere's troops have been withdrawn from the war. It's not your place to question me. Go back to whatever you're supposed to be doing. You know full well, don't you? This type of equipment offers protection against mild industrial pollution at best, and yet you're issuing them to soldiers. Soldiers were about to walk into highly active Iridium plume to face the catastrophe and infected Sarkas head on. They'll all get infected and die in the front lines with acute symptoms. On what authority are you speaking to me? As a lieutenant of the so-called exemplars? I'm questioning you as a citizen of Victoria with a medical education major. Victorian citizen, eh? Then you should know that not even Victoria could produce specialized Iridium PPE for 100,000 soldiers on such an short notice. You should at least tell them the truth. By observing proper operating procedures in highly active Iridium environments, the infection rates could be reduced by as much as... Spare me the lecture. We came to fight. We came to die. But we will take the Sarkas with us, until victory belongs to Victoria. Infected? Uropathy? There'll be no confirmed cases of uropathy in the Victorian army before the end of the war. This is absurd! Me, my commanding officer, and his commanding officer, will all be wearing the same protective equipment. We will charge with our men. Nay, we will be leading the charge. And let go of me. If you want to make a difference, Exemplar, go to the front lines. Lieutenant Shira. You heard him. Thanks to advance warning from our Rhodes Island friends, the Exemplars have sufficient protective gear. We even have some to spare. Don't even think about it. What little we can provide is just a drop in the ocean for the tens of thousands in need. All we can do is take care of ourselves. We have our own duty. To bring an end to all this as quickly as we can. Can't be. Captain? It's him. You shoot. Why are you loading your weapon, Captain? What are you doing? Wait for me. What'd you see? Someone I thought to be long dead. Lieutenant, what happened to my men? They're here, rest assured. They're only unconscious. I don't mean Cello's group. You know who I mean. Push me, or it won't be my shield against your chin. You draw your sword, you'll be assaulting an ally. Ally? At what point, since the moment we entered County Hillock, have you ever treated us as an ally? Answer me! Lost him. Hill, adjutant to Colonel Hamilton. I thought he had died in the fires of Dublin with the Colonel. Not just him. I saw many familiar faces on the Wellington tanks. They could change their clothes, but I'll never forget their faces. County Hillock. I remember my men bagpipe. Now each of them died. Cello and oboe died at the hands of Dublin. Triangle, snare, bass, and mandolin died to friendly fire. Moments before dying, Triangle asked me, who was our enemy? There isn't a night when I don't think about that question. Just who is our enemy? Bagpipe. It's Dublin. Dublin. Certainly we could hate the Terrans. You once told me that you encountered former leader of Dublin and let her go. Aye. I met our enemy too. The Dublin commander who killed Cello. I buried her by the walls of Londinium with my own hands. I couldn't stop myself from hating her, but I know she's far from the only one responsible for this tragedy. Why did our comrades, most loyal soldiers of Victoria, die at County Hillock, while Hill and more traitors live? Captain, wait. I know what I'm doing. If we fire at the Duke's tents now, we risk bringing down the Alliance, even the dream of the Exemplars. That's the saddest thing, isn't it? We can't even take revenge, because they've put on their bloody Victorian uniforms and once again become our allies. Captain, permission to speak freely? Granted. I don't trust them. Would the men who killed our friends, the ones who fired at innocent civilians, really stand with us when we charge against the Sarkas? Even we cannot set our hatred and trust our lives to our former enemies without reservation. Could they? There you are. Vienna and I inspected this forward base. The troops are disciplined and morale is high. The Dukes are taking this seriously. They seem to have reached a united front, allowing the troops to be organized according to function rather than faction. At least, that's what it looked like on the surface. We saw Custer's elites standing guard near the Wellington's tents, and at least 2 or 3 groups of Custer's men stationed further away. A fake unity is unity nonetheless. At least in a time of crisis, the Dukes know who the true enemy is. One more piece of bad news. I checked out the field hospital. It's sparkling clean. There isn't a single wounded inside. They're abandoning the wounded? That's impossible. Morale will collapse. Maybe there are no wounded. Also impossible. We saw how fierce the fighting is on our way here. Things could only be worse at Silver Rock Bluffs. Wait, you don't mean... None of the wounded made it back. To put an end to this tragedy as soon as we can. The Exemplar's strength might be insignificant compared to the all-consuming war. But creating miracles, that's what we do. An inspiring pep talk. Repairs on your tanks are complete. There you are at last. Wait, why is the ground red? Is it your blood? Or... That's not important. My orders are to ensure that the Silas of Kings finds its pedestal. Should I fail, another will put on this hat and continue the work. I'll bring a message from the Duke of Castor, Your Royal Highness. Castor forever honors her commitments. Enough pleasantries. Where is this pedestal? This stone of the sword? Hey Lawrence. You've seen the camp. Do you have an idea of what the front is like? That works in a sound. Okay. It's hardly the best time to tell you the truth, but we have no choice. The pedestal is on the glorious flagship of the Duke of Castor. What? Planned this all along. You guided our path, gave us a place to rest, so you can lead us onto your home field. What's next? Will Caster's troops turn their weapons on us if we say no? Please, no need to get excited. Facts are facts, no matter how you choose to interpret them. My orders were always to bring the realm blade to the stone of the sword, with or without exemplars. Please consider it an act of good faith that I am telling you the truth now, rather than simply taking the sword from you during your darkest hour. Continue. Like I said, the history around the sword and the pedestal is a complex one that ought to be known only by a selected few royals and nobles. In the distant past, even before the Shah of past and future, an explorer discovered an artifact deep in the sands of the south of Sargon. It was by no means a sword, but I was able to repress the spread of iridium crystals within a certain area. The treasure allowed the explorer to survive a catastrophe that should have engulfed an entire team. The legend of the catastrophe cleaver. The survivors forged a sword out of the artifact and presented it to Shahan Shah at the time as a symbol of valor. And in year 737, the Aslan Padishah Lugal Zamsi brought the size of kings to Victoria. Damn these names, man. Decades later, his grandson became Victoria's first Lord of Lions. The sword has severed the head of a dread dragon, witnessed the reconciliation between Aslan and Draco, and became the symbol of Victoria's royal authority. It has been damaged and reforged several times, and many have tried to uncover the secret behind its ability to defend of catastrophe. Scholars have yet to understand the principles behind the sword's power, but they did discover how to make the most of it. The pedestal, dubbed Stone of the Sword, at the Mausoleum of Kings, is a result of research by House Custer. The Duke of Custer at the time kept it back up. After the original pedestal at the Mausoleum of Kings was destroyed in that battle, the only working replica is kept on the Glorious. For centuries, Custer has coveted the realm blade. The chance has finally arrived. Countless soldiers and civilians will die in the war, but Custer gets to reap the fruit of victory and become the hero who saves Victoria. Judge it as you will, but this is what little chance, if not the only chance of victory, Victoria has in the present crisis. God damn it, words, do your fucking phrasing better. I know this is a name, you probably could use a different word here. Trump card in this dangerous game. Sugarcoat all you want, but you can't convince us that the despicable scheming never happened. The choice is yours, Your Royal Highness. Enough. I refuse to engage in arguments over power while we denounce the dukes for being calculative. There is no Princess Alexandrina, only Siege, leader of the Exemplars. There is no symbol of royal authority. The size of kings is just a weapon, one that can win a war for Victoria. We go to war. Thank you, on behalf of Victoria. A spy takes half a step back and bows. I'll lead the way, however. You should prepare yourselves. East Vanguard reports retaking 3 villages by Duskglow River. Sarkaz forces continue to staunchly defend Silver Rock Bluffs Pass. See they add slang like W. Oh wait, there's already someone named W. A lot of Max's writing is like not great like that. Like they use words that sound like very similar next to each other, so it's like it just makes me stumble when I and it doesn't flow right to me. The English translation, so all resistance on the southern front of the Red Mountain Mountains has been neutralized. However, command expressly forbids crossing the mountains to flank the Sarkaz. All gunboats and dreadnoughts in position. Support gunboats have also arrived at their destination. Like, there's also a tendency for sentences to be way too long in Arknights writing as well. But yeah, that might also be because it's coming off a translation. Off a Chinese game, yeah, too, so. The ground continues to tremble. The weary travelers can no longer distinguish the quakes from bombardments, or the cluster of Originium erupting from the earth. The earth is scarred by deep, crisscrossing battleship tread marks. The stench of blood and sludge hangs heavily in the air. The Exemplar's tanks lumber through the rugged terrain. We're almost in the hot zone. How far until Duke Custer's flagship? A moment, please. I'm searching for the signal. Keep heading north, and we'll soon. Craft guns. The lead tank has been destroyed. We've taken damage too. We can't move. Is it the engine or the wheel? Possibly both. Fix it, ASAP. We can't stay here. We need to deliver the realm blade to the Stone of Sword. Wait, what's that mountain? I don't recall any mountain like that outside Winterview. That's no mountain. It's Originium. The churning tides of Originium have coalesced into a colossal mass, blotting out the sun and transforming the varying landscape. In its shadow, even battleships appear as mere specks. Above the mountain of Originium, Slactor. Over the three ominously hovers. Burn. The Naxura King gazes upon the battlefield. Seeds sprout at the same time, withered branches creeping towards every death-shrouded corner. Go, my bravest warriors. Gnaw upon the great burn. Tear iron and steel apart as you would skin and flesh. Rip, tear, consume. We shall teach the Victorians, the master of war. Shall master war.
Yeah,
another enemy here. I didn't check. Attacks deal physical damage to all surrounding units. When inside pollution or active Originium storm, attacks deal physical damage to all surrounding allied units, and all your units inside pollution or active Originium storms. Oh, so they just hit anyone who's in fucking pollution. I see. Okay. Ah, yes. I wanted to check freaking Logos's passive, right? Is it better than Irene?
それともこれで上級顧問へのもてなしを想定してるの？
I'll just chuck Saga here.
私物のスツールを持ち込んでもよいか？
Is that Logos is a trainer? The fuck is he? Eh? Oh, there he is. Pasta supporter plus 30%. Operators assigned to the training room to train for 5. Next training time minus. Oh, it's about the same. Hey. It's literally the same. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's literally the same. It's just this one's for cast and supporters. That's fucking great. All right. Well, let's chuck Logos here again, so he can earn more trust. Where the fuck is he? Oh, can't sit there anymore because he's maxed out, I guess.
私物のスツールを持ち込んでもよいか？
Yeah, so I've been using Irene the entire time. But I guess you can use Logos too, so that's cool.
またあんたが顔を拝めたわね、ドクター。
Because up until now, Irene was the most efficient way to get M3s. Is what I read online. So if we have Logos for caster and supporters now, that's just even better. How's his trust doing though? 78%. Damn it. Still far away from that module. Fight war with war, and death with death. Enemy HP increase, some enemies will differ. There's a push tile here. Alright. Did you get Ali, by the way? I don't remember if you answered that. The switch logos. Skill 3. I didn't. Okay.
義には必ずや解あり。あまねく規則は必ず解きほぐせるものである。
It would be good if you can get her. Just because she's a new class, but I suppose you don't absolutely need her. Because I was reading online, apparently she's very good for quick turning, but I haven't tried it yet. Also need to get her to LB3, which is a pain in the ass. There's like so many units on LB3 right now. I don't have the gems. What the hell are those things up in the sky? Get down. Ugh. Elfie, your right hand. Don't touch. This isn't any normal cannon fire. Sarcasm witchcraft. It's corrosive in nature. I won't be much help. Those people are still trapped in a polluted area. It's too late for them. You got shit in the air, stuff growing in the ground, and crystals and dust everywhere. Can't even take a damn step. Sarkaz wants to turn this battlefield into their own turf, forcing us to put down our gear and cower while they pummel us. When it comes to head-to-head infantry battle, Sarkaz will surely have an advantage due to their natural physique. Alright, I get it now. It's all just a dirty trick. Which is why we can't afford to get caught off guard. If they ever get the drop on us, we're done for on the spot. Morgan, get as many of our vehicles up and running as you can. Avoid any close combat with Sarkaz infantry. Even if the vehicle is destroyed, don't overlook the mounted cannon. They're the best weapons we've got. Understood. Delphine, send the signalers out as widely as you feasibly can. The exemplars will be able to maintain communication that way, at the least. Of course. If we want to push forward, we're going to have to take down that altar up there. Horn, covering fire. Gotcha. Indra, the team's responsible for holding the enemy back. Doesn't matter if it's casters or arts creations or whatever, those things are up in the sky. You got it. Dagda's team, you're with me. Same as always? Same as always. I can see the core. Move out. Another altar of Sarkaz witchcraft. Climb, pull up, leap, bring down the hammer. As the war rages on, they become more and more familiar with these war machines resembling the devil's eyes. They become more and more familiar with war itself. Vina often feels as if Indra, Morgan, and Dagda have changed somewhat. She trusts that the very same changes can be seen in her. Is it a change for the better? Or a change that came far too late? The devil's crimson eyes stares at her. The hammer comes down hard, and the altar begins to collapse before siege even reaches the ground. Worked? Ugh. We took down even quicker than the last one. I hear something. Back up. Something's going out of the bloody thing. It's in the altar. not far from the one we knocked down. How many of these little buggers did they bury in the ground? Bloody hell. There's no end to them. Siege tightly grips her hammer. They are adapting, not quickly enough. Philby Asher, has the location of the Stone Sword changed? I haven't been notified of any changes to the plan. Can the ship still move, with all the Iridium crystals everywhere? I'll have you know, Victoria was the most powerful fleet in the land. We might be slowed a little, but we're certainly not without options. Naval guns. I believe it's the Iron Duke's Gastrel, going by the sound. The next round of our assault is beginning. Abercorn's assault ships has run into the Sarkaz advance brigade. The enemy was hiding in the fog and suddenly appeared. Our vision is severely limited by the Iridium crystals. We can't follow their movements at all. Has mid-range communication been restored yet? The ship's comm tower is still out of commission. Engineering is trying to repair it. We're in this Iridium deadstone. Your Grace, what are you doing on deck? There's Iridium dust everywhere outside. Please try not to leave the command center. I've heard that Wellington always stands on the deck of the Gastrel, personally commanding his frontline troops. The Iron Duke has been through many battles, but you... Just now the Gastrel opened fire. Your ears did not deceive you. Is he still pressing forward? I'm afraid so. The Iron Duke's forces have penetrated deeper than we thought, and are about to collide with the Sarkaz core units. Wellington. Does he plan to take the head of the Sarkaz regent? The Wesley Wellington I knew was indeed a warrior before he became the Iron Duke. His bravery might have bordered on madness, but he will never gamble with the outcome of a battle. Regardless, the Iron Duke's recklessness has placed us at great risk. As per the initial orders, Duke Abercorn's and Duke Ashworth's men are following the Iron Duke, and among them our vanguard as well. Factoring in the surrounding Iridium, our front line has been stretched thin. What of the eyes he placed aboard the Gastrel? Nothing yet. Even us Chilby Ashes are experiencing some serious delays in communication. Confirm the status of the Stone Sword. No issues so far. We will never allow the Stone of the Sword to be tainted by the Sarkaz witchcraft. Your Grace, the Polar has launched a flare. Sir Alexandrina and the Sires of Kings will arrive soon. Have your people keep a close eye on them. Don't let the sword get lost on the battlefield. We must put the Sires of Kings to work immediately. Unless the comms are restored fully, the so-called ducal alliance is a non-entity. The enemy seems to be getting stronger. The same witchcraft eats away at us while strengthening them. Siege, watch out! Ah! Jagta! The hammer falls, and a portion of the Naxxra's warriors' bodies is caved in. He continues to advance. A second swing, then a third. Jagta leaps back, splitting his waist with her metal claws. The Trilby Ash's flaming blade pierces his chest. It's just one. There are still many more ahead. These Sarkaz are truly monsters! Bloody devils are all monsters, goddammit! They're not even flesh and blood! Do you think they're already dead? Only the dead can. Already dead. Strange noises can be heard in all directions. They are distinct from the sounds of Iridium crystal clusters piercing the ground. They are not omens to the explosion of Iridium dust. Captain, we can't hold out like this. There's no end to them. Better focus on the one right in front of you then. There's always going to be someone standing up in front. Raise the shield, fire the cannon. Repeat, ad infinitum. Victoria possesses the strongest weapons of all of Terra. One shell can easily blow apart Sarkaz's armor. Just as quickly, 2 more Sarkaz rush forth at the same time to take the place than 3. The artillery fire unleashes its fury, but it cannot stem the surging tide. There's no end to the enemies. She can hardly tell how many Sarkaz are on the ground in front of her. Some standing, some lying. The fallen Victorians is perhaps even greater. She can hear bagpipes shouts, and the whistling of her spear. From those she finds utmost solace, and that's enough to keep her fighting on. A plume of firelight suddenly springs up not too far away. What is it, Captain? I think I just saw Hill again. Hill. Same face again. Same face that appears in her nightmares every now and again, reminding her of how tragically her teammates died. The face of that traitor. He's dead. Is he the one lying over there? Seems to have been killed in action some time ago. Captain, just now, did he? He moved. He's standing up again. The man clad in uniform of Wellington's forces staggers towards them. He lifts the blade in his hands and slashes at the Sarkaz in front of Horn. The armor is too thick, and the recoil pushes his hands away. His arms contort strangely, and he strikes a second time, and a third. That familiar visage is getting closer and closer to him. In the midst of a dead silent grey, only a tiny speck of purple dances. It's her. It's Dublin. The cat? Lay down now, my soldiers honor here, so that in time the soil of Tara need no longer be soaked in carmine blood, and Joker cross no swords with Joker kin. Be that useless unless a day comes, whereupon Red Dragon's flame should lead all those that fell, our fighters from the forge, to be reborn. The third set of altars has been crushed. My lady, our casters and flying soldiers are in position. We're about to approach the largest altar. Our deceased compatriots have managed to protect us from the devil's foul conclusion, but the destructive power of the witchcraft is unprecedented. Allow me. My lady, you're going to destroy the altar yourself? You, as my subjects, have done all you need to do. I, as your sovereign, ought to lead you forward. How can I take this land as my own, if I have never set a foot upon it? The Red Dragon's flame shall fall upon the battlefield's front lines, just as it has for thousands of years. The altar's been raised. Stay in formation. Don't get scattered by those flames. Keep casting. They're nothing but a ragtag bunch of impotent outbloods. I wouldn't be so sure about that. We are nothing like those Victorians who have it easy. Every Terran warrior has been forged within the shadows, tempered by pain and suffering. We were once known as spectres, for we knew most intimately the scent of death. I won't let you! Trying to turn yourself into an arts catalyst to detonate the altar. As you wish. I'm too late. The spark of life gradually fades, and in its place burns a deathly purple flame, leaping across the body of the slain Sarkaz warrior, just as it dances in Iblana's eyes. There is no role caught in death's domain. Sarkaz, your people know death so well, only because you've fought enough wars. See that? Death itself stands with us. Our enemies are not inscrutable demons. Drag those Sarkaz out from their pretentious art circles and give them a taste of our crossbows and cannons. Brigadier, I see a flame burning within your eyes. I've waited far too long for this. It's like countless other Terran warriors. All of us grew up hearing the legends of the Empire's death knell, and enlisted with burning fervor in our hearts. But over the last few decades, Wellington's administrator and the Duke have led their hands tied. And we've also been caught between the cracks of the other Duke's negotiation tables. So many hot-blooded warriors were repressed because of their background, while many others perished in the Victorians' conspiracies. I've endured for so many years, even to see myself turning into a scheming villain, all for the sake of witnessing a real war, not one ignited by the nobles' petty power jockeying. Only on such a battlefield can a warrior's death be glorious and meaningful. If I am to die in this battle, then please bestow upon me your flame so that I may stand once more. Until my remains are consumed fully by the fire, until our promised nation has been established, I shall never lay down my arms.
Excellent. Now then, come with me. Do you see the throne of Deadwood?
That's the Sarkaz leader.
The Noxera, Nessalem. He who calls himself the Lord of War and Death.
Sarkaz Royal Court sure has a thing for those overblown tiles.
Overblown? Hardly. This happens to be ancient enough. But he is not the only living legend here.
Why, of course. Not far away, naval guns roar. Ancient witchcraft is not the only force that can cause mountains to move.
Now, let us pitch war against war, and death against death.
Patriarch, the hunt has been cut short. The Draco's flames have broken our formation. Draco. Thousands of years ago, after the Sarkaz first lost their homeland, they once did battle against the Red Dragon on its very soil. Those flames turned fields of Sarkaz into shard stone. They are still beside us and beneath our feet. We will slay her. Red Dragon will sate our appetite for a while. He is not the one who drives this war. The Noxera King turns his gaze towards a certain part of the battlefield. Behind the Red Dragon's smoke and flames, a huge shadow is rushing towards them at an unexpected speed. A titan that casts a shadow across the land, able to shake mountains and rivers with but a single breath. No longer is it a mere Red Dragon.
All parameters set. Loading complete. Firing interference shells. Target locked on.
Main guns, first salvo. Confirmed hit. General, we've swept the obstacles away. Good. Gastro, all ahead full. Objective, the Noxera's throne. The naval guns roll. Wellington is well acquainted with his most loyal subject, the oldest gun aboard the ship, that which assisted him in blowing open the gates of Lingonus. He killed the mightiest nomadic city on Terra. He pulled the spine from its corpse and made it a part of his warship. Afterwards he took the Castrol to many lands and conquered many foes. The arts orbs of the Athenian casters, the shields of Ursine vanguards, the gold blades of Sargonian assassins, collected and modified the most valuable components of his enemies and placed them upon his flagship. But not for the sake of commemoration. Only those who have become weak and frail throughout the passage of time need to rely on these vestiges to remember the past. The Gastrel must step over the bones of his enemies, assimilating their power so that it may become stronger. Only this way can the two of them defeat even stronger enemies together. Intercept them. The crystal barrier has been shattered. The enemy continues to advance. Hell, they must long for death, using artillery to fire to clean the path. Wave after wave of cannon fire pours down into a sea of Originium. Golden fragments crack and split apart, revealing a gap within those congealed waves. How dare they approach us? A thick haze envelops the battlefield. Battleshield. Countless Noxera warriors land on its deck, the entire vassal enveloped in the glow of witchcraft. Rend, dismantle, corrode. The cadence of gunfire gradually slows. The hard steel hull is being digested, just like all other prey that has fallen into the Noxera's art circles. Capture complete. Not yet. He lifts his scepter. Branches grow rapidly from beneath the throne, blocking the front of the Naxara warriors. A shell lodges within the branches. A few seconds later, the shell explodes, tearing the branches asunder. For the first time since the battle began, the Naxara's throne shakes. My patriarch! It matters not. Patriarch of the Naxara. From a thick haze of corruption, the warship slowly comes into view. Its outer layer flayed off by the corruption. Almost half of its main and secondary guns disabled due to the bombardment of witchcraft shells. Only the steel frame remains shining. Yet she is nevertheless still Gastral, the mightiest warship on land. Her master. Sarkaz atop the throne lowers his head, noticing a faint shadow among the crystal clusters. General, the Gastral has successfully drawn the attention of the main Sarkaz force. They didn't even notice that we were transferred from the main ship. Wait, something's coming in fast. Guardsmen, tighten your formation. A salvo of artillery fire. Only a few tiny twigs fall from the smoke and dust. The force that was enough to shatter those crystalline waves cannot even shake the figure floating in the air. The Naxara king casts his gaze down upon the commander at the center of the army. Not far behind the old feline, the bloodthirsty warship is waiting, eager to tear at his floating flesh. Duke of Victoria. We have devoured many Victorians. General, Duke, whatever the title, they all tasted the same. Conspirators, merchants, but none of them warriors. They saw the battlefield as little more than a sandbox atop the table. The soldiers mere chess pieces, war itself only a tool for power and profit. How frivolous war was to them. But you were different. Your ship has also feasted on many enemies. Versailles, Athenian, Gaulish, and Sarkaz. I can smell their flesh. They have also been absorbed by the Naxaras. Sarkaz. I've read plenty of reports about you. The ancient Naxaras, with a tenth of the Victorian army's numbers, were able to halt their advance on Castor. A feat of war that defies all reason, one that cannot be taught in military academics or replicated. And are you here to take revenge? Ha! My only regret is that I had been born 200 years ago. They apparently called you the god of war? No, there are no gods when it comes to war. There only exists the moment of victory or defeat. Wellington draws his sword and points it at the sarcasm midair. Behind him, all the guns in his ship are pointed in the same direction. Nazala, I will defeat you. Just like all the other mighty foes that have fallen at my hands. I don't know why, it feels like he's gonna die. How the fuck does Nazala see from that face full of colors? I don't know, magic. Originating in dust.
気になさらないで結構よ。私は待っててあげられますから。聞いてるけど、誰かに気づく前にあなたの死体を影に沈めてあげる。
概要なんてただの紙くずよ。あんたが何をしたいか知って
Same way
るわ。
Daredevil sees. Possibly, yeah.
頑張ろうね。
影に揺れてるわ。
ここにいるよ。みんなあっち行って。本気で行くよ。
あまりまた誰かに気づく前に。
ついてないわね。今日の貧乏くじはあんたよ。
What's this? Summons beacon when destroyed. Yeah, let's blow up this thing.
かの深き海より入ります。 機材の準備敵へロックオン攻撃リンゴちゃん今日もよろしくね
Fuck is W? Wizard will take damage. That's not good.
オリジニウム鉱脈を乗せた溶岩には絶対に近づかないでくださいね
これで静かになってくれるのさっさと片付ければ楽に終わる
機材の準備や万全みんなあっち行ってここにいるよわあみんなこっち来て
影すら捕らえさせない。
我が弦を発する。
親友が姿を映している。
万化が聞こえ境を立てる印終焉の輪
任務概要なんてただの紙くずよあんたが何をしたいか知ってるわ
これで前回とりと大地を這う溶岩どうか穏やかに
あたしよここに派遣ついてないわね今日の貧乏くじはあんたよ
親友が姿を映している。
機材の準備しゃ
Mission accomplished
"65 hours into the operation. Battle between the Ducal Alliance and Naxxramas is brutal. Just farther ahead is Silver Rock Bluffs. The regional response is intense, and the vehicle has already been paralyzed. Vina should be arriving at the front line soon. When the size of Kings and the Stone of the Sword become one, we'll be able to see it from our position. Catastrophes be sundered. It's only a myth. When people see things that defy explanation, they tend to exaggerate and romanticize them and passing them down those to generations. Size of King and the Shard. The Shard is an application of Iridium on the same level as large-scale witchcraft devices. And the size of Kings is able to neutralize certain Iridium reactions. I see you've done your homework. Iridium is often likened to a chronic disease. To this day, people Terra's best solution to a catastrophe has been, and still is, to avoid them. It's incredibly difficult for people to directly intervene with the mechanisms of Iridium, but the Victorians have long mastered these tools to save themselves. The original size of Kings lies in Victoria, right? The first time I saw the size of Kings was deep within the palace of the Shahanshah in Sargon. People regard it as a symbol of the Aslan's royal authority and believe that it can protect any settlement or city. This is indeed true. It is able to neutralize Iridium reactions to a certain extent. Only to a certain extent? That's right. No matter how much effort the Sargonian casters put into unearthing and retrofitting it, it was nothing but a former city defense device. During the era at which it was put to use, Iridium was not yet widely available across the continent. I trust that it will be able to temporarily put a stop to Ananam and give the Pheromone's spine an opportunity to take off, but it's not an inhibitor that can completely seal Iridium activity. Have you been disappointed too many times over these years? Doctor, from your current perspective, what do you think Iridium is? A phenomenon brimming within the unknown, a resource to exploit, or perhaps a source of disaster and disease? I can't say. You don't want to, because your answer would be all of the above. Iridium has long been inextricably woven into everything we see. Our environment, our technology, our culture, even our bodies. If a portion of a limb is necrotic, cutting it off might solve the problem. But what if the problem stretches from beginning to the end? There are some people who see you as omnipotent. Why are you looking at me? Doctor, you asked me if I have ever experienced disappointment. Just once. I allowed myself to become overly dependent on one person, made a series of poor judgments, and paid the price. Oh man, this line, fucking hell. God damn it, Doctor. But it doesn't mean that I'll stop believing. It is difficult enough to rebel against the very foundations of our origins. To pin your hopes on just one technology, or one person, is utterly unrealistic.
Doctor Kelsey, please take a look at this. There's a cave up ahead.
Someone's concealed the entrance. Crude, twisted, one of the Confessorius illusions.
I'm sure we'll find a witchcraft altar at its deepest point. We should go to where the Iridium response is strongest.
There's Iridium everywhere. Kelsey, will our medicine still work?
It beats being completely unprepared.
Under the influence of Ananom, Iridium will come closer to its true nature. The crystal clusters will merge with all things, living and dead, at an increasing rate, sealing that data inside in an assimilated form. Iridium can only store information within its own structure. As such, any assimilated individuals will completely lose the forms of their life. Some may see this as nothing more than an instantaneous decomposition, just like those who died due to an Urupathy outbreak. There are some parallels. In the case of these patients, after their consciousness disperses, their bodies will disintegrate into highly activated Iridium dust over a period of time. Simulation, on the other hand, condenses this entire process to the extreme. Rhodes Island's technology can only delay cell Iridium assimilation rate from reaching a certain threshold. We're not able to truly erect a barrier that can stave off Iridium. Don't worry too much about that, Doctor. The Iridium saturation rate in our current environment is far from the extreme level. Is our situation not extreme enough still? Right now we can still breathe and move about. If we're quick enough to stop the Iridium from spreading further, all hope is not yet lost.
Dr. Kelsey, Doctor, I can hear enemy movements. Lucas, please prepare to intercept the enemy.
Intruders! It's the Banshee End. Ugh. There are quite a few guards, but they're not difficult to manage. There must be greater dangers yet lurking in the shadows. Doctor, please stay close to us. The interference of Confessorius witchcraft is making it hard for me to pinpoint the exact location, but the blood of Tikaz is undoubtedly nearby. Tikaz's blood roused the first Iridium from its slumber. Over the millennia, the fate of the Sarkaz has been tangled together with Iridium. Armia and Logos are suffering, or rather, they've shouldered this pain the entire time just to come this far. What about you then? You think of all the times Kelsey had to suppress the words she wished to say. You were not only a witness and a bystander. Surely you share a deeper connection with Iridium, with this war, and with everything that's going on.
This is
the blood of Tikaz. Dukarel's obsession. The fuck, Max? So-called pure blood is free of impurities. By itself, it possesses no inherent power. Anya, cut off its connection to the altar.
Got it.
Wait.
Dr. Kelsey?
Monster,
Attack the corpse of that guard over there. There's another monster? No, there's more than just one. All those defeated Confessorius guards weren't real guards at all.
Near perfect replicas. It's the fucking Damazi! Only he could decorate this cave to look nearly identical to a royal altar. This was a trap designed to lure us in. Damazi.
Amiya, get behind me.
Still stands in front of you, and you grip Amiya's hand tightly. Blood of Tikaz is collapsing along with the entire altar, the surrounding rock walls pressing ever closer. The illusion is no more, but the shifting terrain is real. The real altar must still be functioning. Originium continues to grow, and it will soon consume everything you see.
Doctor,
The Confessorius Den.
seemed to have fallen to the deepest level of the false altar. The Originium was shifting too fast and I only had time to grab onto you. I don't know where Dr. Kelsey and Logos are. There's too much Originium here. Too much information. I can't sense them at all.
They're probably far away by now. They want to stop us from destroying the altar. But you might still be the Confessorius' real target.
What they want is the King of Sarkas. The ground is still shaking. Are the crystal clusters still spreading? Wait, that's...
Oh boy, it's these guys again. A monster suddenly crawls forth from the Originium depths. The horns of a Wendigo, body of a gargoyle, the flames of a Diablo. You have seen these before in the Confessorius stone sculptures of the various Sarkas tribes, but never before sharing the same body.
His emotions are chaotic. I see only memories, fragmented, blurry, and mashed together.
Amiya, over there!
There'll be many more, Doctor. It's the cave that gave birth to them. Confessorius sculpted them from the Sarkas blood and Originium, and gave birth to these creatures.
Amiya.
They're alive, Doctor. They aren't chunks of rock, constructs of witchcraft. They are living beings. But they obey only the call of the Confessorius. They do not feel any pain, nor do they cry for their fate. People would normally call these creatures monsters.
That's right. What's this?
Or alternatively, chimeras. Who are you even mourning for? For these mindless kin, or for yourself? A chimera forced to wear a crown. Fight is about to begin.
Amiya, are you being infected in any way?
Doctor, I won't let the Confessorius trap me a second time. I'm not so fragile as to let these illusions and nightmares get to me. That name Chimera is no different from those dreams. Interrogations. I've heard it many times before. I have no right to be here if I let myself get shaken by that. Beyond that, however, I swore that I'd never let my immaturity drag you down again.
Tiny crown appears above the head of the quartz girl. Black lines interweave and take form between her fingers. Your connection with the king is deepening.
Perhaps. But it might not be enough.
Mia, don't be in such a hurry to leave. These clones are nothing before my incantations, Damazi. Or as you once put it, it is time wasted. We remember that performance and that stroll. We talked for quite some time. That day you at least still considered yourself a lord of the royal court, despite having a different appearance. What are you now? We try to take on different identities, but these varying journeys have yet to provide us with an answer. What we conclude is, the path has neither beginning nor end. It is a cycle, and you sought out death to prove it. At death's end is nothingness. The myriad souls you speak of have said nothing to us. Banshee, how did it feel to sound the bone whistle for us? Shut up. Hello Zilla. Welcome to the stream. There's no end to them. We are doing more reading. This is all you can muster. You've lost a lot of bite after your first death. Thanks for the redeems. I'm gonna need to get a water refill soon. The clone, destroyed by the incantation, does not dissipate into nothingness as before. Instead, that body simply collapses, sinking into the Originium tides until it quickly disappears without a trace. From it, a hand resembling a withered branch extends from within the crystal cluster. Stood on. Nancy, you once killed me as well. On the battlefield, I am not one of you. He's talking at 1% In Kazdor, I was ordered to kill those who betrayed the royal court. You got in my way and separated my head from my shoulders with your incantations. You were but a child then, with a puerile voice. I remember you. The traitors you mentioned were a family of 3 who wanted to flee Kazdor in search of a peaceful life. They swore an oath of fealty to the royal court. The royal court should never be held above ordinary Sarkaz. You may have been a war hero of Kazdor once, but I cannot allow you to slaughter civilians. So you chose Babel and Teresa, all for the sake of your so-called ordinary Sarkaz. That is the righteous path to the future. Even after she died, you still didn't return to Kazdor. You even helped those outsiders steal away the King of Sarkaz. The inheritance of the King of Sarkaz was a decision made by Her Highness Teresa. Killed me with your own hands. When your incantations were coiling around my heart, strangling it. I couldn't believe it. After fighting alongside each other for so many years, whatever you felt towards me paled in comparison to those outsiders. The potted golden grass you left behind on the ship is growing well now. After Her Highness's death, how many comrades did you slay with your own hands during the internal strife that engulfed Babel? The belongings left by so many people. I'm sure there's enough of them to fill your whole room, huh? You feel sorry every time you look at that patch of grass I planted in the pot of a whim? If I were to feel sorrow, it would be because that even death has denied you the solace you deserve. Damati, you were never so keen to dress yourself up as a dead before. This exchange of words cannot provide you with any answers, nor can probing my emotions. The dead do not respond. They continue to emerge from the dark crystal clusters. Many faces, some familiar, others not, all of them Sarkaz. Your innate abilities are resounding with the information stored inside the Originium. Seeing as how your powers have grown thanks to Originium. Logos raises one hand. No incantations are needed, just a low humming sound from the vibrating of the rock walls. In a heartbeat, all of the Damasi clones are shattered. Just as expected. There's one left, the very last one. It's you. The vampire stands there in the caves, his expression almost identical to when he stood atop the Ferment's skull that day. However, it is no longer fresh blood that rolls down demons before, rather clusters of Originium crystal. Logos can feel the blood in his body stirring. Sangonok of vampires, Dukaro. You're not like the others. I know this. You're not one of the Damasi's avatars. What? He's alive! Of course! Lord Damati, this portion of you decided to assist Chris Sage. No, we have no interest in helping anyone in particular. We are simply searching for answers. Kelsey, we may have met you before. when the Sarkas were not yet Sarkas. You walked across us. I have no recollection of any such meeting. At the time we were unable to speak, and then the first king of TCAS came in contact with the Originium. That was our first awakening. The first individual rose up from among us. We felt one another. We had existed for an unknown amount of time before that. It was only at that moment when we became aware of our existence. Because we began to think. Originium will assimilate all life forms it comes into contact with. Not just you, but also the original vampires, banshees, and wendigos. All TCAS have changed. You are approaching the form of another entity that once existed on this land. Then, what are you? Imposter. Seems extremely averse to seeing another self. Kasu, the immortal. Do you still remember what you looked like at first? The immortal is a figment of certain people's imaginations, and a misrepresentation of myself. Time leaves its marks upon me all the same. The original entity by the name of Kasu has long been lost beneath the golden sands. But you are still yourself. We were watching as you were reborn at Teresa's side. You are different from your previous self, from your appearance to your personality. We are used to constant change for the sake of survival. Among the Sarkas, the Damati cluster is unique. The ones thought that you were like us. We know many Kalsi, just as Kalsi knows many of us. However, we will always be a whole. Each Damati is a receptor for us to feel this land. But Kalsi is different. Each Kalsi is still you. I do believe that to be true. Why? Is it the inheritance of memory that makes you so persistent? Memory can be easily tampered with and implanted. Thus we know for many long-lived beings have tried such methods. Such immortality is nothing but an empty lie. Then, is it some kind of duty? I won't deny that my life has been duty-bound from the moment I was born. Looking back, I don't think I've ever truly been alive. The substances that make up your body have all been replaced. The memories inherited from your previous self are unreliable. The mission imposed upon you may not even be your own. Kasu, what is it that has kept the continuity of you across these thousands of years? A name. A unique name or a title? This is a question that so many emotionally deprived Sarkas would be keenly interested in. This name has many meanings. The person who gave me this name, and the people I care about, and are in danger. This isn't the time for us to be having this chat. I did not expect you to be this sentimental. Monster.
どんな状況でも勝てるのは昔と変わらないわね。ただあの子の
That felt like a long story
その喜
segment.
びように偽りはなさそうだけど。
Boss fight. Alta keeper HP and movement speed increased. Opportunity is fleeting in the ever-changing tempo of war. Damn, both sides? There's holes? I guess? Okay? There's a stairway here, it goes here, and there's a box here, it goes here. Just camp them instead of dealing with the blue box. Sit here and here. Better. Alright. Who ain't holders though?
ら狩りの時間。
Ah, 79. Need another 20%. Yeah, we'll go with that. No, update.
またあんたは顔を拝めたわね、ドクター。
Free roll time, free roll time.
幸先がいいわ。
スカベンジャーだ。汚い仕事は任せてくれ。
That's okay. We're gonna do my recruitment
どう
now.
も、ジェイと申します。星熊さんに勧められてロドスに。
どうしたの？顔そんなに
Refresh was at 10 and I was stuck in story for 20 minutes.
ビーグルって言います。まあ、
Yikes.
採用テストはギリギリでしたけど。バニラと申します。訓練生
Over
と
20 minutes.
ここで勉強させていただきます。
Man. Oh, I'm tired.
飾り付けは妖精たちに任せてお
Give
い
me
て。
trust. Give me trust.
後で。
ドクター、私にできることはありますか？
How much are you at now? 82. It's so slow.
またあんたが顔を拝めたわね、ドクタ
Expect
ー。
I'll have it
ま
maxed
った
out by
く
next week though.
幸先がいいわ。
Or to keep a HP and movement speed increased. Ah, that's okay. Because the altar keep is going to pick up and drop off the altar. So I think I need one of them. Where the fuck is the altar keepers? So I can read them. They only pick up the altars, right? Or yeah, okay. Unblockable, reduce movement speed while taking damage. Picks up nearby beacons if it's not carrying a beacon and drops them on death. So it picks up the beacon and then drops it. So we need to make sure that the beacon, if it's here, is picked up and dropped over to like here or whatever. I don't fucking care, right? And then we can hold lanes here and that's fine. Fuck. I didn't bring Spectre. So that's okay. That's okay.
There's one more. I'm afraid it wouldn't be that easy. My cute little king of Sarkaz, you've already broken 5 of my pets. Shall I take a guess at how long you will hold out yet? You gave life to those beings of witchcraft just to use them as expendable tools to hold me back. It did take me a bit of time to recreate the chimeras. You're so cruel. You go around spreading that rash empathy everywhere, just like Teresa. When she lost to Teresa's, the Regent thought it would be a good opportunity to retake the crown. But to our surprise, she had already passed it on to you before she died. Quite the well-conceived plot. Even with our eyes and ears everywhere, we were unable to detect it before it happened. Were you also fooled by her lies, Doctor?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Poor soul, you don't even remember a thing. You desperately serve this king of Sarkas. Is it the former king's manipulation, or is it because you truly love her from the bottom of your heart?
My bond with Amiya is nothing you could tamper with.
Besides Sarge's ambition would bring even greater harm to the Sarkas. Teresa would never allow him to usurp the crown. Such meaningless prattle, my dear rabbit. Just ask anyone on the streets of Castle, and they will tell you. For us, the departure of the King of Sarkas is the gravest disaster. Alright, spare me whatever you might say about fairness. The inheritance of the King of Sarkas has always been filled with accidents, and Teresa's actions were no different from what we did. We all sought to make this power easier to control. Our region more deeply believes in the connection between blood and the soul. The pain they're enduring. Are these emotions also instilled and manipulated by witchcraft?
Chimera lashes out at the crystals around it. Originium activation levels are increasing.
Ah!
Amiya, the Originium activation levels are changing extremely quickly.
Doctor, you don't need to worry. I can get accustomed to this confessorious witchcraft. Over the last few years, I've been learning. I remember all the treatment methods Teresa taught me, as well as all the instructions I've received from Dr. Kelsey. I can feel the connection between me and the King of Sarkas. It has not left me. Just hurts a little bit, that's all. Utterly meaningless. Go now. That one is of no value anymore.
The crazed Chimera rushes towards you. From Schonenberg to Londinium, you've encountered all forms of foes, some which defied your wildest imagination. But the enemy before you looks like the most formidable of all. It is the product of the Confessori's manipulation of blood, combined with the ultimate embodiment of Sarkas' physical strength. Solus said that Sarkas are much stronger than Cortices, but you know that even Amiya's body is vastly stronger than yours. And yet, you still have an advantage. Something sets you aside from others, something that makes you one of a kind.
I won't let you.
The black lines of the Sarkas King run towards us, through the Chimera in front of you. All good. But the claws of another Chimera are about to reach your head. It's almost time. Crystal clusters are violently multiplying at the position you stood just a moment ago. One after another, like flowers brought into full bloom through arts. Sharp stones tear the ground and block wall. The same is also true for the Chimera closest to you. Its massive body crashes to the ground. Originium dust kicked up in every direction, rubbing and colliding, exploding in a dazzling gold. Just as calculated, the surrounding Originium rocks have reached a critical point of collapse, overcharged by witchcraft energies. A mist of fine crystals rains down onto your mask. You gaze upon them, harboring no ill sentiment whatsoever. Originium will never harm you, and deep down you realize this once again. But the same is not true for others. An instinctive fear swells in the eyes of both Amiya and Solus. Amiya approaches you steadfastly, while Solus shows a hint of hesitation. And it was in that moment, just one brief moment. Mind.
My hands and feet.
She. Solus is about to let out a scream, but the ensuing incantation preemptively seals her power. Your voice is grating to the ears. You spend too much time playing with pelts while knowing nothing about weaving a stanza. Time.
Right. Alice.
The black particles no longer revolve around you, but instead form into a sharp sword. You cannot help but look into the face of the blue-head's Confessorius. Her emotions have almost faded away, as if already having made peace with the imminent fatal blow.
So, this is it. The King of Sarkaz's verdict. You... Don't misunderstand. I did everything I could to try to survive. I failed to recapture the King of Sarkaz for the leader. I made a grave mistake, which is why I was deceived by the cunning pest beside you. For the sake of this life, I should try to atone for my sins. Is that it? You were willing to sacrifice yourself for Krisar's plot. He is our father, our progenitor. Disobedience is not an option. I truly hate Krisar Sinang, and I hate you too. Why do you choose to resist? Amiya, are we not just chimeras implanted with hope?
Obstruct. The exploding blood mist is blocked by an invisible force. Shortly afterwards, the blood mist that obscured your view gradually dissipates, and silence falls over the entire cave.
She got away.
She galvanized the blood dripping in from her wounds. She would have no means to fully resist my incantations. Such an activation would only tear her further apart. As long as Talos is not killed completely, she'll find a way to escape. You heard her say it herself. She sees this life as precious. And where do you think she'll escape to?
Her mission is probably the safeguard of the blood of Tikaz, right? Since she could not stop us at the fake altar, she'll definitely return to the real one.
Logos, I assume you already left the tracker? I have met your expectations.
I understand your plan, Doctor, but it's far too risky. I can't approve of what you did then. If you try pulling a stunt like that again, I'll get angry.
I'll keep that in mind. But we don't have the luxury of time.
That's right.
We need to pick up the pace. Kelsey stares at an object on the ground. You recognize it as the Confessorius mask left behind by Solace as she fled. We underestimated Krisar's Sage. Previously, he suddenly appeared before me in Shining, kidnapped Nightingale, and revealed his intent to usurp the King of Sarkaz. He has been lurking in the shadows for thousands of years for this moment. He would certainly not make any rash moves until his goal is accomplished. He wanted others to think that he was solely after the Black Crown. What does he plan to do with it? The King of Sarkaz is a neutral force. Whether it heralds the arrival of calamity or averts it depends on the wielder.
Which is most likely why Krisar seeks the crown.
He wants that authority to be vested within his own hands, to touch the secrets passed down for eons, to seek even greater power than from the point of origination. Krisar, Ducarel, and Theresis. While their ultimate goals may be different, they all converge upon the same destination. Sarkaz have always been deeply influenced by Originum. I fear, however, that this influence has been directed on purpose, or that is uncontrollably penetrating into a deeper level.
I think I'll be fine.
Your physical condition has stabilized. Logos says that lingering traces of Confessorius witchcraft have already dissipated.
Thank you.
You have cracks in at least 3 rings.
It's nothing serious, just some battle damage, that's all.
The rings aren't the problem, Amiya. Since the battle for the command tower started, don't you think you've been taking on too many memories and emotions? Those aren't going away. It's your own psyche that is tearing these rings apart. And no instrument is enough to contain such a torrent of emotions.
The rings can't, but I can. It's not just an instrument. I'm not just an instrument. Those emotions were forced on me by someone else, yes, but I chose to reach out to them, to experience them, to feel them. If I said it wasn't painful, that'd be a lie. I don't want to deceive anyone else, or myself, acting as if that pain doesn't exist. But I've pretty much gotten used to it.
Like wading through a swamp with a heavy load on your back. Amiya, I'd recommend reinforcing those rings.
No. To save even more people, I need even more power. I've told you again and again that this is what I wish for.
Doctor, how's Amiya doing? She's managing to stay in control. The solutions we have for all these problems are only stopgaps at best. That feeling of seeing yourself and everything around you sliding into the abyss is no less harrowing than physical illness or pain. If only I could cure her. Amiya's is unwavering. When Her Highness Teresa brought her before us for the very first time, she was but a child. I still remember her gaze lingering on the feathers in my hands. How'd you react? Even I found myself somewhat shocked. There was no fear in that child's eyes, only a friendly curiosity. I was planning to take a step back like a scout and the others, but Amiya actually came up to approach us herself. That was a time when a good chunk of Babel's core members were Sakas, who had horns of all shapes in our heads, some more imposing than others, and there were crystals all over our bodies. I'd seen my fair share of Rimbiliton's courters caravans, so I knew that those timid, mild-mannered courtesans often found it difficult to suppress their instinctive fear when they came face to face with Sakas. Maybe that was just her nature, or she had an exceptional upbringing. Amiya showed no sign of distinguishing between the Sakas and any other race. She naturally treated everyone with kindness, which is why I was not surprised at all when I learned that Teresa chose Amiya to be her successor. Even though you were a Lord of the Royal Court, you were in support of Amiya inheriting the title of King of Sakas. For me, that wasn't even the most difficult part of the decision. The doctor, I just ran into some old friends. Among them was one of my former Babel comrades, whom I killed with my own hands. Why? After Her Highness Teresa's death, a rebellion broke out on Rhodes Island. A number of Babel members refused to give up on the war. They and a number of Sakas warriors decided that we ought to take revenge and return to Kazdal to reclaim power. Probably W, but the more extreme among them. They want to lash out against Kalsi. They proposed to kill Amiya. The team that once belonged to the King of Sakas turned completely away from Kazdal. They saw this as a despicable theft, an unforgivable betrayal. And Dr. Kalsi, along with the non-Sakas members of Babel, were seen as the culprits. All of them used to belong to Babel. All of them warriors who followed Teresa. Many of them truly believed in Teresa, and were willing to lay down their lives for her and Babel's ideals. The man I killed almost lost his life at the hands of a military commissioner hustler. I saved him, only to take his life later on. He must still be suffering. Logos, the Babel member, already made his choice. After the rebellion, the mercenaries and the Sakas warriors pretty much all chose to leave. Among Babel's official rank and file, only a few decided to remain. Babel was no more, and Dr. Kalsi forbade anyone from mentioning the King of Sakas. Why did you stay with Rhodes Island? It's true that I did plan to return to the valley following Her Highness's death. Kazdal had lost its king, and nobody could predict its future. As the master of the elegiac court, I could not run away from my duty to my home. But before I left, Scout pulled me aside and said that he and Misery were throwing a farewell party for me. I said that drinking was out of the question, and that I didn't want to ruin my new change of clothes. But turns out they wanted me to help paint. Neat. They were preparing to change the landship's markings. Outcast was the one who convinced me to take the job. No idea what kind of messed up rumor Hoja had poured onto her head. She said banshee incantations are magical, and if I were to make the new sign, Rhodes Island would surely have a smooth future voyages. And that came from a Sancto. So did you end up making the sign? That was Closure's job, actually. I warned my colleagues not to let her slack off. Pretty cool of you. The work was done in no time. After finishing, we all looked up at the sign together. Ace asked when I was leaving, so I gave them 2 dates. The first was when I'd be leaving the landship, the very same day. That very same day. The next was 3 days later. 72 hours is the shortest time needed to make a round trip from the place the landship was docked at and the Valley of the Banshees. When Ace heard that, he immediately told Scout to give him 5 days worth of booze money. Scout wagered that I'd be back in the valley for more than a week. As for Misery, he pulled a welcome back ribbon out of his pocket and replaced the farewell banner that he originally put up as a joke. Sounds like everyone's having fun. I carry a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, and even I don't want to set any of them down altogether. I still have to pick and choose what I prioritize. But I knew from the very beginning that I made the right call. Doctor, I've not questioned you since you returned from Shonobog. You have no memories of the past. So why do you choose to remain in Rhodes Island even now? Why are you willing to take immense risks and dive deep into the dangers ahead? Banshee, Mr. Logos, the road ahead has been blocked. The Doctor and the King of Sarkaz would like you to hurry up. Newly formed rift. This huge rift suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Bluehead Conference went through it, so we're definitely on the right track. Right now. The Originium is reshaping the terrain with increased frequency and severity. I can feel it. I trust that you can as well, Amio.
The ground is trembling. Starkaz's emotions are resonating violently with the Originium. Their rage is gathering, and it shakes this land like a storm.
When the blood of Tikaz is used in tandem with Amnonam, the battlefield itself becomes an art circle of colossal proportions. The original arts of the rampaging Sarkaz are amplified, and in turn, that increased power promotes the spread of Originium. A similar situation took place thousands of years ago. Sarkaz acquired witchcraft through Originium, and through witchcraft, Amnonam was awakened. In the centuries to follow, violent storms flayed the land, and great fissures cut deep into the earth. Originium had almost completed its mission of devouring everything. You managed to stop things from getting worse? That's not something I can do, or should. The war ended before Originium could completely engulf the land. The elders, the ancients, Sarkaz suffered losses so grievous that they were unable to carry out any more large-scale conquests. At least for the time being. War knows no end. I told her.
派手にやる必要はない。
I mean, if the altar's gonna stay there, it can stay there.
みんな助けに来たよ。リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。すべて予想通り作戦開始。
Go that way too. Okay. So the red box come this way too. Fuck. That's annoying. Shit, that's fucking annoying.
お利口さんに手錠をかけられときなさい。取り調べ室で事情をちゃんと聞いてあげるから。あんたの指示には従わないこともないけど。獲物はどれですの？ご命令の通り。
Damn, is she gonna fucking... Oh, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. She's gonna die. I can't do it. I should have retreated.
き運より参りました。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
誰を餌にするか決まった恐怖が隠せない。
ところが何も起きていない。
火山の煙や粉塵には大量のオリジニウム粒子が含まれるので、長居は避けましょう。
カップないわね。これ式のことにも私。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
私に出会ったのが運の尽きだ。指定の位置に向かう。
Holy shit, okay, I didn't realize that guy was gonna appear there.
作戦開始よ。
あまり待たせぬ足元を見てみなさい。
あんたの指示には従わないこともないけど。
獲物はどれですね。
これで前回と命をさらう石を溶けてしまえ。
Block stings. Fuck.
ここは私が見る。
Captain.
よそに目を光らせ。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。
あまり待たせない。
これで静かになってくれるな。
ご命令の通り。
You know what? If you're gonna carry it there, then good, because I actually wanted to pull
ど
it
う
that
ぞ
way.
続けて。
That is perfectly
ネバネ
fine.
またグーだ。はいはい、焦らなくていいわよ。全員分あるから。ネバネまたグダグダ言ってるわ。
私の名は闇の奥底だ。私を追って影に踏み込んでこい。
我が弦を発する。
Holy fuck! Okay, it's fucking massive. It needs to go back.
指定の位置に
It
向かう。
needs to go back.
あんたの指示には従わない。あんたの指示には従わない。本気で行くよ。
Fuck. Yeah,
誰を餌
absolutely
にする
fucked,
か
yo.
決まった。絶望の匂いまでカムフラージュできない。
Holy shit. That storm is fucking massive. Holy shit. Okay, I should not have had it absorb the Iridium. Okay, that's it. Let's restart that. That's fucking insane.
まだ何人かやれる。ドクターは先に撤退してくれ。
Can't let it get that big. Holy shit. So bad idea to have it absorb all of that shit. Okay then. So I want to push it out of the way. Oh, yeah, I can use logos here. He's not ready.
あら、狩りの時間？
I don't need Spectre. Altar. What do I need? I actually need more ways to push the thing. So actually fire is actually good then. What did I take out just now? Fuck. I took out Logos. Now maybe another lane holder would be good. So two lane holders, essentially. So we need one to block here, and one to block this side here. And then we need to pull the thing and all the way up here or something like that. Or actually, if we could push it all the way here, but that way it'll make it way too big. It'll be way too big. Because it'd be nice if we can use the tornado to deal damage to the enemies, but I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. It's gonna pick up too much dust in the way because it starts off like here, I think. Yeah, it starts off here. I could pull it through here and push it up that way. Last time I did something like that, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It absorbed 7 and was absolutely massive. So I don't think I want to do that. Instead of BD, grab another pool.
Yosh! やる気全開! 山頂まで一気に行くよ!
So if I get it to absorb 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like if I pull it all the way through here, I gotta do it really fast though, because it's gonna absorb this and this, unless I just knock it out of the way. I said fuck it. Yeah, maybe it's better to just knock it out of the way. Ask going to sit here facing down. I don't think. Virtuous's skill actually expands her range, does it? Yeah, skill 2 doesn't expand her range. It's skill 3 that does. Okay. Instead of Virtuous, I'll use Ebon Horse.
この力は本来私のものではない。だが、ロドスが求めるのであれば、可能な限り振るおう。
Yeah, might be the best. Okay, let's go with that. We're gonna try and knock it out of the way.
私の位置には留意しておけ。いつでも出られる。
本気で行くよ。
It instantly absorbs those. Get out of the way or should I? Now pull it. To pull it here.
影が揺れてるわ。ご命令の通りおもちゃで遊ぶのもここまで。誰を餌にするか誰かに気づく前にあなたの死体を影に沈めてあげる。影すら捕らえさせない。記憶に残るの後ろだ。どうすればいいかくらいわかるわ。私に命令しないで。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。あの深き海より参りました。
カップないわね。これ式のことにも私が出張らないといけないのよ。
リンゴちゃん、今日もよろしくね。今すっごく気分がいいの。
誰を餌にするか決まった？あまり待たせないで。誰かが気づく前にあなたの死体を影に沈めてあげる。
開演は間近だ。どうやら我らが監修はもう待ちきれないようだ。
わあ、本気で行くよ。
獲物はどれですよ。
もっと早くする。私の頭から出ていけ。もっと早くする。
私の名は闇の憶測だ。あまり待たせ足元を見てみなさ
本気で行くよ。わあ、寝ちゃうところだった。
That should be fine.
い。どうぞ続けて。この奇跡があなたの心臓に滑り込むまで1秒もかかりませんよ。足元を見てみなさい。
もっと強くする。
ネバなんてまついてないわね。今日の貧乏くじはあんた。
すぐ外してあまり待たせないで。誰かに気づく前にあなたの死体を影に沈めてあげる。どうぞ続けて。気をつけなさい。この海流は絶
4分の3拍子のごとき警戒。
あまり待たせないで。
This lady is holding them in place so they won't move.
Mission accomplished.
They stay 8 hours into the operation. Smoke and thick fog tug and tear at one another. The deck of the Castro is teeming with the seeds and withered branches of the Naxxramas. 70% of the guns that once breached countless fortresses have now fallen silent. Its teeth almost completely pulled, and its talons wetted smooth. The logical next step is for this prey to be dismantled and devoured. However, the Naxxra's throne has also been pierced by dozens of chain mail report crackers. With just one move, the god of war could be pulled from his throne. You have proven to me that war marches on. 200 years ago, no Victorian would have come even this far. And you, Sarkaz, you've proven that you're not just some decrepit old shadow. You're indeed a threat to this great land. Perhaps my worship should have paid you a visit sooner after I told Gaul, but you would have been afforded no such opportunity. None of you. Confessarius transmission. Yes, in the direction of the blood of Ticos. The Naxxra king takes in the entirety of the battlefield. The enemy is trying to halt the storm. This might change the flow of battle, but it is hardly decisive. Even without the catastrophe, this warrior is just as savage, just as unrelenting. Wellington is a worthy opponent. fetters of time will soon drag him away. He has no place among the future wars. The true threat comes from elsewhere. It comes from behind. Teresa's and the commissariats have reminded me that this is not the only battlefield. Will you attend to it personally? I have already received the wars promised to me by the military commission, present and future. The Noxaras must also fulfill their pact with the Regent. But before I leave, I must sow some seeds of decay on this battlefield, for me to reap upon my return. A thick haze rises. Upon the battlefield, only the throne remains. Is that Axara running away? No. In a real war, there is no retreat. Wait, General, look at the throne! There's some kind of mist pouring from it. That sword, isn't it? That isn't any ordinary mist. It's eating me from the inside. I don't know why that word came to my mind, but whatever. General, your body. Soldier, status report on the Gastral. Damage to cannons in excess of 60%. Per your previous orders, propulsion capabilities are largely intact. As weapons. Remove anything that's basically unusable and discard it on the spot. Pull out the Iridium cannons from the lower deck. Those are already obsolete, but still enough to kill. Yes, sir. Notify the Gastral to retreat to G0 high ground, according to the plan, and continue to consolidate defenses there. We will also follow at speed, ordering all current battle lines to fall back. Next, we'll send these Sarkaz over to Casta and Godwin to handle. Any use from Shay? The Captain and Lady Ablana have captured most of the Noxara altars in this area. Yes, I saw. The flames are very vivid. Attic! No need. General? A battle with no decisive conclusion will not be my last. Alliance Fleet Command emergency transmission. 3 minutes left. We should be able to hear gunfire from our current position. Yes, Your Grace. Wellington's column is not far from us, ensuring we'll be able to provide mutual support. This battle will determine Victoria's fate. Indeed, if all goes well, then we'll be able to end this meaningless fate as quickly as possible. Those eyes truly burn with a lust for battle. Do you think he has any ulterior motives? For 2 decades, my desk has been filled with intel related to him, along with its response proposals. As of late, these reports have been updating a dozen times a day. The true struggle begins after the Sarkaz have been dealt with. At this moment, Wellington isn't the only one who needs a decisive victory. The time has come. The assault is about to commence, and he has never failed to be punctual. Ah, do you hear that? The Gastral's full broadside. Such a different timber it is compared to our ships. But after this battle, Casta's name will shine alongside Wellington's in the annals of Victorian military history. Anomaly, anomaly, 00 and 01. Repeat, 00 and 01. The comms have been cut. You're right, all signals from the Duke of Wellington have vanished. A group of Sarkaz suddenly emerged from the catastrophe and have engaged in battle with our frontline troops. The hell is Wellington doing? Acting alone at a time like this? That vainglorious fool. Is he gone senile? Impossible. I do have a conjecture though. Do you think he deceived Casta? Or rather everyone? That doesn't make any sense. This is the Iron Duke we're talking about. Why would he abandon the other, more easily manipulated dukes to go ally with Sarkaz? It's a game of prisoner's dilemma among the dukes. How would the Duke of Windermere, a warrior, treat her foes? She'd kill them all, and wipe the last speck of their blood across their seized spoils. Before he became first among the Victorian dukes, Wellington had already been leading troops for decades longer than your mother. As a noble among nobles, Castor was used to everyone playing by the same set of rules. For spending too long seated in front of the card table, she might have forgotten some unreasonable people, such as us gangster types, had a penchant for flipping the entire table. Hypothetically, if the Iron Dukes truly saw all of Victoria as enemies rather than competitors, he'd never even give Castor a single chip to bargain with.
Catastrophe.
The next wave of catastrophe struck far sooner than any of the catastrophe messages predicted.
All our comms have been knocked offline.
How long for repairs?
15 minutes. No, we'll make it 10.
Your Grace. You came back on Wellington's orders. Indeed. You're heavily injured. Who's responsible? Not any of the Iron Duke's men. He lost to Sarkas. After the Gastro opened fire, Naxxra's advanced brigade emerged from the fog. They moved extremely quickly, using a ready deployed Altus to destroy a small warship. Abercorn's infantry had already engaged them for a spell. We expected the Gastro to aid the ship, but he retreated instead. That's right, the Gastro has turned back. All of Wellington's other ships are covering the flagship's retreat. Their casters have also changed targets, relying on the covering fire from our ships to secure their own vessels' retreat. What about Abercorn and Ashworth's ship? Completely exposed to Naxxra's assault. They expected to show up as support, but now find themselves facing their enemies head-on. Wellington's ships have completely blocked off their retreat. He's even trying to push Abercorn and the others towards the front lines. It won't be long until the remaining Alliance forces are wiped out and become sustenance for Naxxra's. So the old guy basically said fuck the plan and pushed everyone in front of him. Is that it? Okay. Grace, the Alliance forces dispatched to the heart of battle have collapsed, and the Sarkas will soon return to the area where they're situated. The plan to cut off and encircle the Sarkas has failed. We're at risk of getting surrounded ourselves. At risk? No, it's already too late. What's enveloping us is much more than the catastrophe. Naxxra's! The signal's back online. We've run into a large contingent of Naxxra's. No, it's an entire army. There's another force approaching from the right. Is that their second army? They've already begun fighting. The catastrophe is amplifying Naxxra's witchcraft. The Originium response is spiking sharply. Your Grace, watch yourself. Explosion! Troops on the battlefield still were able to receive any feeble signals at all simultaneously are sent a static key message. The Glorious has been confirmed destroyed. Vina remembers the first time she saw a high-speed battleship. It was sitting on her father's desk, a small-scale model, only as long as an adult's forearm. Its crystal flagpole would fall over with just a little poke. Her father pushed her touchy-feely hands away, telling her that high-speed battleships are akin to metallic monsters that conquer the land. They, like the indomitable city of Londinium, were the crowning jewels of Victoria's industrial technology. Alexandrina, when you're older, I will take you aboard the newest battleship. You'll see for yourself. 20 years later, when Mina did in fact see one, it was only upon the battlefield. Be it Windermere's, Castor's, or Wellington's warship, they were so majestic that the people standing beneath them were mere specks in comparison. But at this moment, the broken warship in the palm of the colossal Originium wave before her seems to have reverted to the tiny toy she played with in her childhood. That Originium wave crushed the Glorious into pieces.
My eardrums are still aching. The sound of a warship being destroyed. I doubt there's anyone nearby who didn't hear it.
The Duke driving that huge thing is dead just like that? Hey Dagda, you better not shit yourself. You're the one whose hands are shaking. Huh. You've been quiet this whole time, Dagda. What's on your mind? They made an example of the Duke of Casa at this critical juncture. The Sarkaz intentions are all too clear. What might that be? A warning? No, it's a message. A message that the Sarkaz are about to launch an all-out attack. Inform all our comrades and prepare for the next assault. The Duke of Casa is not dead. Our morale is completely shot right now. That was quite the commotion just now. Nobody's ever seen anything like that before, including us. But the captain's already sent out a bunch of old vets to tag along with you and calm down the fresh grains. Aye, looks like it's been working out. Backpat, don't hold them to our standards, even if you're just doing it subconsciously. The exemplars just happen to be a particularly special case. Aye, got it, Captain. Horn, you just said that the Duke of Custer is still alive? You seem quite certain about that. Take a look. The muzzles of the glorious cannons have been locked on since the very beginning. There might be countless criticisms about Victoria's Grand Dukes, but holding that position for decades is no easy feat. Since the Glorious has not ceased this resistance, that means the Duke of Custer has not perished. As for the actual situation, maybe that's something a Trilby Asher can clear up for us. We left the moment the Glorious started to run into trouble. He might be in the vicinity trying to get in contact with the Glorious to figure out what's actually going on. But from what he told us, the stone of the sword we're looking for is also right there. Siege, what's our next move? We've just heard back from the outpost. The Glorious has been completely surrounded by Royal Court's blitz attack, and the Duke of Wellington has suddenly withdrawn his forces. The situation in the surrounding areas is rapidly deteriorated. Vina, I'm afraid that we'll have to halt our march at once. He betrayed us, that old fool. Bastard. What drops on this map? Oh, just the Keatons. I think there was another one that dropped the Keatons as well. Yeah. Unwavering faith is a blade that will cut through the darkness and slay despair. Yeah, the storm. Oh, it's a battle with the exemplars. The Glasgow gang. Okay. All hands, you are not to change your route without authorization. Pass through the Gastro's covering bombardment area post-haste. Cover the general's return to the ship. Shells rain down on both sides of the mobile force that is moving at full speed. Smoke obscures their whereabouts, and withering artillery fire crushes the Sarkaz troops collapsing upon them. Wait, 200 meters ahead. I found something strange belonging to those Axaras. The aura emanating from our throne seems to be letting those damn devils to replenish their ranks faster. They're closing in fast. They're trying to intercept us. General, do we need to flank the flank guard to continue the diversion? No. Commander, where? Run them over. Yes, sir. Amidst the smoke, silent figures in white robes raise their long swords, surrendering the artillery fire falling upon them. They disappear into the plumes of smoke and dust kicked up by the explosions. Prepare to intercept the enemy. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't disappoint me. 1. Guys, raining fire. Not all death is alike, Sarkaz. Purple flames wreathe the Duke of Wellington's entire mobile unit, and a rising pillar of flames carves out a completely safe domain on the battlefield. A sanctuary brought by the flames of death. You're more than proving your trustworthiness, Lady Oblana. And I too admire your duel against death.
However, your injuries are still severe, and the Naxxra's deathly aura still eats away at your body. Your uniform may hide your injuries, but not from me. Take my hand, Your Grace. You should not be riding these rickety vehicles. Allow me to personally escort you back to the Castro.
It's just a flesh wound. The Duke who overcame death ignores the Draco's outstretched hand, his body remaining upright with the help of his cane. Pain? Little more than that. Lady Oblana, your flames still burn a bit too hot. Make an opening in this wall of flame, and I will lead the way. Don't worry, this cane has accompanied me through more dreadful battles. I will stand atop the Gastro's bow and await Victoria's call for help.
As you wish, my ever-faithful lord. If your body can no longer sustain your ambition, then I shall rekindle your heart with flames. Even death shall be no obstacle for your march forward. Tara, we shall stand up upon the most glorious place in this land. Together we shall set this battlefield alight. Warning, warning. Damage to the hull in excess of 65%. Navigation system offline. Propulsion system offline. Activate backup power supply. The engine room has been damaged, and there's a serious leakage of origin and fuel. At 2:34, the Frederick was struck by 3 witchcraft shells simultaneously, paralyzing its propulsion system. The combat zone is heavily contaminated by witchcraft. 3 supporting frigates, unable to approach, and currently dispatching the infantry. The 2nd defensive line has incurred a fierce assault. The 9th Battalion Armored Corps is currently holding back the Naxxra infantry. Lieutenant Colonel Blake and Major Morning have been slain. Captain Seymour is currently in command. The Excelsior has discovered an approaching squad of Naxxra Custis. We've lost contact with the Intrepid, and no specific coordinates are identified. Duke Godden's 3 dreadnoughts are approaching at full speed to provide support. Duke Abercorn and Duke Ashworth's assault battleships are also responding to the call for help. Originium activity is so rampant that it's off the charts. What the hell is that? Is the Originium eating our ship? Your Grace, the situation is changing extremely quickly. The surviving Trilby ashes have already been sent out, and the news they brought back has been compiled here. Our men are dying out there, and the Naxxras are turning the entire battlefield into a meat grinder. How many of us are left? Less than a third. Your Grace should retreat. Our flagship still retains its defensive capabilities. Even in this condition, it should at least be able to clear our way back for you. I can't leave. Eileen, spread the word that I will be staying on the Glory. Use whatever means you have at your disposal. By abandoning the front line, the defensive line will inevitably be devoured. Victory will be yet another step further away from Victoria. What would the other soldiers think of us? Another Duke has abandoned them? When this battle is over, our soldiers must also remember what price I paid for this victory. I will continue to draw the Naxxra's fire. The other Dukes will surely come to my aid. They understand exactly what is and is not important at this current moment. Besides, my elite forces are all here. You are all the support I need. Nothing more needs to be said. Watch out, Your Grace! We'll start by clearing out this cabin. Our march towards victory begins from this stronghold. Your Grace. As you command. Then we must get our hands on the Sizer Kings. The stone of the sword is still here, undamaged. It is our best opportunity for a counterattack. Is the Trilby Asher who's been in contact with our lovely Vina still alive? Our communication channels are back online now. Excellent. Get in touch with him. I have new orders for him. There's no end to them. Shells. Where are the shells? Fuck! Dead. They're all dead. Vina, rescue another soldier. The enemy lineup is going to be hard to handle. Sure you want to keep pushing forward? Activating the Realm Blade is the best option we have for turning the tides of the battle. We've already come this far. There's something only we can do. Who are you?
are the exemplars. The exemplars? Use your head, soldier. Don't charge right up to the enemy. So much blood, rapidity, and suppressants. Damn it, we ran out a while ago. Hang in there a bit longer, and don't move. There's a chance the iridium crystals puncture your lungs. Doesn't matter anymore. What? Doctor, stir. Just about all their men are dead. Clark was the second to last one. See that hand over there by your feet? That's all that's left of it. What can I do? Your name? Patel. Richard Patel. Private Patel. From your badge, I see you're assigned to the 9th Battalion Armored Corps, and your commanding officer is Lieutenant Colonel Blake. If I recall correctly, your company's mission is to protect Dunacaster's flagship. Who are you? Which unit are you from? Delphine, from the Exemplars. I'm just like you. I despise those enemies. They took everything from me. But I still remember my mission. I'm here to aid you, Private Patel. Aid me? Duke Windermere is dead. I don't know if our esteemed Duke is still with us. And then, there's the Iron Duke. She only introduced herself as Delphine, not Delphine Windermere. That bloody Codger Wellington. He deserted the battlefield. What are you people even doing here? What do we have for victory? Delphine subconsciously glances over at Vino, who stands not far away from the size of King strapped onto her back. Even if the Grand Dukes give up, we will not. Is that so? He's not going to last for much longer. Shit. Hurry up and spread out. He could implode at any moment. We're out of time to deal with him. Delphine sees the soldier's bloodshot eyes. There's determination and desire burning within him. Listen up, Exemplars. There's a contingent of Noxeros up ahead. Put me into that tank over there. Wait, Delphine! Don't go near him! I can handle this. Very well. Allow me to help you, Private Patel. If this is your last wish. Thank you. The battered tank hurtles towards the Sarkos troops. Many of the Exemplars had no idea what was going on until they heard the one last battle cry an ordinary soldier gave using his life. It will record all you've accomplished here today. Each and every member of the Duke of Costa's 9th Battalion Armored Corps was a good soldier, ready to defend the glorious Victoria herself with their lives. Wait, what's going on? The dead are standing up? No, it's not the dead that are standing there. Withered branches. Twigs sprout up from the fallen bodies of the Naxara warriors, extending in every direction, burrowing back towards the fog, where the scent of rot and decay is strongest. See how long this fucking sentence is? A figure rises from the fog and quickly approaches. Yeah, Bark Delphine. Oh, we're getting close to that part. Oh, okay, so something for me to look forward to? Okay. Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Hope you're enjoying the story, it's so peak. It is good, it is good. Hopefully you'll take more than that to kill me off. If we die here, our lives will get sucked up by a Naxara altars. We will turn into their food. Does that mean Private Patel's last wish was in vain? These enemies cannot even be defeated by death. No, Delphine. He was able to slay the squad of Naxaras. However, that monster's clearly weakened and trying to fend off death. Take advantage of this opportunity and destroy the target. I'll cover you. Backfire. Mark my flank. Private Patel's wish will not be in vain. We'll charge out through the opening he created. Everyone, move it. Don't hesitate. Slow down for a second and the whole situation might spiral out of control. What are you still standing there for? You, don't tell me you're choosing now of all times to get cold feet? Getting cold feet? No, I just need to stay behind for a time being to fulfill my duty. Your Highness Alexandrina, Please don't glare at me like that. I really do have urgent business to attend to. The Duke has just given me her latest orders. The deal is off. You are to evacuate the Sizer Kings and await her further instructions. You will not be able to reach the Stone of Sword, and this key must not fall into Sarkaz's hands. If necessary, special measures can be employed to ensure the safety of the Sizer Kings. How did I see this coming? There's no need to be so wary of me. I've been completely forthcoming when it comes to the Duke's orders. I know you're loath to abandon your quest for the Stone of the Sword, but count me in. Huh? Our highest priority remains to ensure the safety of the Duke. But at times like this, where am I supposed to find allies more trustworthy than the Exemplars? Your Duke's not going to be happy with your decision. Would you look at that? I've already switched sides. Look at it this way. I'm outnumbered here, and I don't have any way of dealing with all of you. Get Your Royal Highness. I hope your plan is a complete one. Don't worry, my dear aunt won't have anything to worry about. I know what I have to do. Vienna's plans are never complicated, and that has proven surprisingly effective on this chaotic battlefield. Everyone in the Exemplars knows exactly what they're fighting for. No matter how the war forces them apart, in the end, those who survive will gather to lift the glass of victory. Yeah, get rid of that W. The plan is straightforward. Delphine, they're in charge of commanding from the periphery and pinning down the Sarkaz laying siege to the Glorious. Chip away at them and avoid direct engagements. Can you still walk? I don't think so. Then grab onto my back. I've moved you to safety. Well, there's no it's safe anymore. Let's get behind that piece of this destroyed warship. Hide behind there for the time being. Don't worry about us. Right now, the Sizer Kings takes highest priority. Don't be daft. Vienna's team knows what to do with the Sizer Kings. Our mission right now is to contain the enemy and siphon off some of the Vibe power. Lieutenant, I need medical assistant over here. Roger. Bit, where are you from? Eston. I've been there before. They've got good leather. There's an open wound on the leg with a visible puncturing. Stop the bleeding first. Do you have pain anywhere else other than the wound? No, I'm just a bit tired, that's all. Do you have anyone on your mind right now? It's Barry. I'm across the street. He still owes me. Don't say it. Just keep repeating it in your heart. Just repeat it to yourself over and over. Then go back home alive and tell them yourself. The patient is conscious and has no fractures, internal bleeding, or acute affection. The wound has been cleaned. I'll now bandage it and apply anti-inflammatories. He should be fine with some rest. You did well, Delphine. Lieutenant, did you ever think about wanting to rewind time to the day our ship was raided? If we could win, sure. I'm of the same mind. Because of my mistake, my incompetence, we were miserably defeated by the Sarkaz. I don't want that to happen again today. Lieutenant, please take Fitz back. I'm still needed here. What about us, Vina? Travel lightly, quickly break through the encirclement, and go for the pedestal. Horn, bagpipe. We're counting on you to cover our flank. You heard that, Hannah, Morgan, Dagda? We're gonna charge forward and never look back. Sounds like we're rushing straight into a fight for our lives. Getting excited already. Shut it already, Hannah. Bunker's not gonna hold. Where's the location of the next bunker? Strange man in the hat's already flown it for us. Keep your eyes peeled for his signal. The soldiers up there are Custer's guards. We're almost there. The bombardment is thinning out. Delphine's forces have managed to draw away a large chunk of their firepower. I can see the pedal still clearly now. Get down. Hold on. That attack just now wasn't from the Sarkaz. Captain, it's the Glorious. The Glorious has noticed us. Its guns are clearing the way for us. Bounce onto it. Press onward. They continue to charge into the Tempest, to where the artillery fire converges, to where the enemies are. Hammer smashes into bone, and sword cleaves through flesh. Those standing shoulder to shoulder are getting heavier injuries, yet they no longer bother to wipe the blood from their faces. They continue pressing forward, no matter how perilous, they never stop. The Glorious is right, here in front of them, right there in front of them, and Vina can already hear the roar of battle coming from above. Hold out a bit longer, about to break through. New shower. Not past. What's going on? I've lost all sensation, and yet I'm holding my hammer. Vina! The Sides of Kings! The Sides of Kings are being knocked flying after it! Gandalf, is that you? There's so many lines that like could be interpreted as references. By the Kings? That's the sword. But I wore it on my back. Death. The final end. Damn it! Vina, stand up! Help her! Bagpipe, cover my back! I need to reload. They can block their blades. Bloody hell, why can't I'm running faster? A dark shadow, something is approaching me. Vina! Victoria! 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 Vina could never forget that voice, even if she cannot no longer make out all the information it contains. But her intuition tells him that it is a name that is associated with her entire life. The ground shatters, and along with it, 3 mobile altars. White vapor erupts, and a fiery red blade emerges. Look! A Steam Knight! A Steam Knight stands with us. Victoria's glory has returned. He stands with us. Follow him into battle. Slay them. Slay every last Sarkaz. Glory to Victoria! Charles Lidge. Splash, pierce, charge. The suit of armor fights valiantly and ferociously. The path behind him is soon littered with Sarkaz corpses and the fragment of shattered altars. Witchcraft missiles land, fall at his feet. Crossbows bolts fly towards him. Blades slash at his body. But he never stops. He cleaves apart the extremity, sweeping them away, along with any traces they left on him. Steam Knight still lives? That's right. We saw him inside the city. What? Is he here now? He came for the sword. Vina! I can still fight. The sword is gone. I see the Sides of Kings. It's lying atop a pile of bodies in the combat zone. I'll retrieve it for you. Just as you said. Pounce onto it. Press forward. Don't look back. I promise you that the sword will appear when it is needed. Vina. I'll keep going. Cover me. He clenches the hammer in her hands, struggling off all doubt and hesitation. He has placed her trust in not just her partners, but also in people who she had never trusted before. No, she has placed her trust in all of Victoria. The Victoria she believes in. Run. Faster. Almost there. Don't force it! Get hit again and you're a goner. The mobile altar. It stopped? Then who fired that shot? One of our own tanks? Vina, we're connected with the Duke of 5 suit of armor. We also located Captain Seymour. He's still alive. More troops are on their way to join us. We'll handle all those altars that are flying around. Great news. Let's keep moving. Don't you dare get in our way. We've used up the last of our ammunition. That means it'll come down to some good old CQC. Roger that, Captain. Pretty nostalgic, right? Reminds me of our academy days. One where she has no more range. Let's see how these Psychas like our technique. Let them try to get past us. The stone of the sword is right ahead. That corrosive fog. Your Royal Highness, my colleagues have secured the Glorious. The next time our cooperation is needed, the exemplars will hear from the Chulbi once more. Finally, allow me to use my original arts, as well as a little bit of authority, to light your way. A ray of green light cuts through the dense fog of decay. Deep within the storm, the stone of the sword radiates with light. Oh, right, the sword. After thinking things through, one really should not disobey a duke's orders. Also made a promise to your Royal Highness. That's quite a pickle. Right then, catch! Silver light streaks across the battlefield, piercing through the fog. The size of kings, a blade so common that it does not attract the attention of soldiers on either side of the battlefield. I've got it! Don't turn back now, Siege. This is the final stretch. Don't worry about me, Captain. Go with them. The storm rises from the battlefield, but the White Wolf has already leapt up. Aim, fire, procedure she knows by heart. Take it, Siege! The longsword left her hand, cutting through the air as countless eyes followed its path. Bina never looks back. She simply continues running, carefully listening to every sound by sound. Swoosh. Sound of metal vibrating through the air. The sound of air being cut apart by a sharp object. She forcefully throws down the hammer in her hands. Its massive head lodges into the cliffside, creating a tiny foothold for her. She steps on it and leaps. And when she extends her hand, the Sizer King has already found its way into her palm. Idra, Morgan, remember how we used to chuck Molotov cocktails into the chimneys of nobles? Yeah, let's stand on each other's shoulders. But this time I'll be running ahead first. This art piece is legitimately super cool. I like how they did the panning. It was like, because it showed emphasized the progression of the story, like while panning upwards. That was really cool. The Paginium beneath her feet felt like alive, unlike any wall or mountain she's ever traversed before. I'll find the whole thing in the wiki since it has this one piece. Nice. How much farther? How much longer will it be until the dark clouds disperse, and the war draws its last breath? She fled Londinium to the land beyond its walls. Then from there she returned. How much farther must she go before she returns to the peaceful homeland and to the people she loves? Vina does not know, but at least the stone of the sword is right before her eyes. She extricates her armor, and with all her might. She knows what she must do. She leaps up, hammer and sword held high in her hands, glimmering in the sunlight. Where are the medics at? Lark has a coming, Siege.
私の武器は誰にでも扱えるわけではない。この野郎
Comes a storm. Where's the altar? Oh shit, it's going bigger. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, they're dying. Oh fuck, they're dying. Five. In-game cutscene. We should do more of these ones. This is super cool. How they're doing this. All hands. They've almost reached the stone of the sword. Go, Steve Knight! Go, Charles! No, I don't remember your character.
Ina, don't hesitate. Right now we have a chance. The only one we will get.
Green Knight's block count is funny boy. Oh, I didn't get to see it. Siege leaps up. The edges of the stone of sword. 99! Wow. Okay, that is pretty funny. The edges of the stone. Wait, okay, just one step further. One more miracle. And I realize this is auto. The knight who was Victoria never forgot his duty. He streaked across the sky, picking up the golden lion who held the realm blade. A dull sound came from the bloodied suit of armor. Hey, Ipan. We're just about to bring the sword and the stone together. Stone lies just ahead. The waves of Rugium rise and fall. Countless crystal shards surround them. The one in the eye of the storm will not waver. Not anymore. For the Glasgow gang. For Londinium. For all who died. For all who lived. The golden lion roars at the storm. The size of kings plunges down. Sword and its stone become one. It's an explosion of golden light. Falls on the crystals, and on her, shining towards heaven and earth. The golden radiance pierces the red demonic eye, tearing a hole in the curtain of death above. A miracle has happened. A legend has returned. The hero's sword cleaved through catastrophe, bringing golden hope that fell upon the eyes of every Victorian on the battlefield. Londinium will yield to no storm. As long as they have the size of kings, there is no foe they cannot overcome. Victoria! Victoria! The exemplars! The exemplars! Vida! Vida! The cries form a great wave, lifting up the exhausted hero. Siege looks up at the size of kings. The sword in its stone looks entirely ordinary, as though it was no more than a key. He knows, more than ever, that the sword has never granted anyone power, nor has she suddenly become one of the heroes of legend. Who stands here now because of the countless eyes that have witnessed her, the countless hands that have lifted her up. I like how this is the reverse Excalibur, basically. Put the sword in the stone to save everyone. It's really cool. What's happening? Not dying to the original. They're being healed! They're being healed! A legend is bestowed by the people. The miracles you hold already existed before Logal, Argus, and I met. Massive buff. In the depths of the Golden Sands, explorers who should have been devoured by catastrophes found safe haven because of this relic. The relic was forged into a treasured blade, and I carried it along with the young Shah into the Endless Sands. I still remember what he said as he rested against my mane beneath the stars. She'll have a name, but that name is not mine to give. Then as legends go, he took up the blade and slew the Poltergeist King. He never returned. Nobody in the land was worthy of giving that sword a name, but a legend was nevertheless born. The hero's sword. It passed through the hands of many kings, until at long last, the lion with hair as bright as the sun used it to sever the red dragon's head. That story you're already familiar with, Beneath the gleaming blade, the lion and dragon ultimately stood side by side and swore an oath to lift the crown together. Alas, the hero's sword would slay no more, but would instead be regarded as the highest authority. It has endured loss and betrayal, yet its brilliance as a symbol of authority has never dimmed. As Legal Zagars has said, you have all sung of it from generation to generation using the name it was given, the sighs of kings. No matter how many times it is reforged, craftsmen will always be able to hear the sighs from within the sword. They say that it is the king's sighing, lamenting that the glorious empire no longer has enemies worth conquering. But it was never the kings who were sighing, but the blade itself, a miracle dug out from the golden sands more than a millennium ago. Still, they had the right to give meaning to this sword. Vina, legends are never told by the heroes themselves, but you continued its story. Perhaps in 20 years, the children will sing. Alexandrina, the sword of the Victoria, the king who banished the Sarkas tyrant. But is it the story you want to hear? And by whose right do you wield this sword? The king's? The heroes? The people's? Gawain. Got you, Vina. You did it, Vina. The enemy forces encircling the Glorious are retreating before the Duke's forces. Vina, hang in there. We'll catch up to you soon enough. The other Duke's troops have heard news of the Duke of Castor, and are now willing to work together with the Exemplars. At least, this is settled before the fighting engulfed Londinium. Waves of cheering pour through the communicator, each louder than the last. But the battle continues. The sighs of kings is sheathed within the sword, the stone of the sword. This is not the end, but merely a beginning. Theme Knight is helping us? No, I'd say he only came for the wrong blade. Siege's gaze falls on the devastated battlefield, where the Steam Knight wears on its warpath. She looks for the other shadow, but it is nowhere to be found. The Siege grips her hammer tightly, stands before her companions, just like she had done so many times before. Let's continue the fight, until the moment of victory actually arrives. The Realm Blade is now active. Looking up from here, that golden pill of light is truly breathtaking. 2 decades ago, I first saw this prototype of our stone of sword in the workshop. I've been waiting for this moment ever since. The light that sunders catastrophe is no longer a myth, or a heroic tale in alleyways. Can you envision it? Beneath the shade of this light, our people will no longer need to live in fear of catastrophe. Our city will be eternally glorious. Then nobody could have imagined that it would ever be used for this purpose. That it would be used in a war started by those barbaric devils, in a ravaged land outside Londinium's gates. And it was done by the hands of my dear brother's orphan, with the aid of the Exemplars. For decades, the pedestal has been integral with our strategy in Victoria. What should have become Castor's triumph is now a part of the legacy of the former King's errors. Your Grace, we are sorry for betraying your expectations. You call it betrayal? No. The Glorious was saved, and Victoria was saved. What is there for me to be disappointed about? The miracle blooming on the battlefield. I can even hear my own guards whispering these few words. I believe your Sir Suffolk would share the same opinion, no? The poet should be acting in accordance with military protocol and retreating with the Realm Blade. I'll make sure of this. There's no rush. Whether this is a direction of duty or a show of loyalty, I shall decide for myself later. What's happened has happened. There's no need to worry about the Realm Blade's fate for now. At least, this isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Connect to the Exemplar's external communication channel. Use the Alliance line. Your Grace, there's a risk of being tapped. Talk less and do your job. Very well. Whose communication frequency is this? I didn't turn it on. Well done, Exemplars. Well, stuff me! Your Grace, I thought you'd at least want to meet me in person. Indeed, arrangements for that meeting have already been made. But after the Realm Blade's activation, all intel on the battlefield flowed to me once again. Opportunities on the battlefield are fleeting, and I was too preoccupied to make use of it. Stage, what you have accomplished is nothing short of a miracle. I will reevaluate the role that the Exemplars can play in this war. With all due respect, I do not recall opening our communication channels to you. As of right now, assuming your channels are open to all of Victoria's allied forces. They will begin their counterattack by retaking Silver Rock Bluffs. Are the Exemplars willing to work with us to create a miracle? Under the banner of the Dukes? No, the Exemplars cannot and will not be affiliated with any of the ducal forces. This much I can assure you. You must operate as a heroic, independent unit. Alexandrina, you will come to know what the Exemplars mean to Victoria. For now, we undoubtedly stand on the same side. Take count of your troops. It's time to go.
That golden light. The size of Kings has taken effect. Siege and the Exemplars have done it.
The situation on the battlefield will finally stabilize. No longer afflicted by the extreme Originium-dense environment, Victoria's forces will be free to display their full potential. The military commission's defeat on the main battlefield is inevitable. Even if there are still disputes among the Dukes, the overall strength and sustained combat capability of the Victorian army far eclipses what the Sarkaz can muster. Additionally, the Victoria just enjoyed a massive moral boost. It won't be long until the scales of victory tip towards Victoria.
Yes.
Amiya, Teresis must have foreseen this when he decided to start this war and filled the trenches of a foreign land with Sarkaz lives.
I know, Dr. Kelsey. But the more this happens, the more I find myself thinking, what kind of future are they hoping for with so many people thrown away for nothing?
Whatever that might be. Kelsey looks up to the crimson sky. The storm is not completely halted. The Originium dust swirling in the inverted airflow was only temporarily driven back by the sides of the Kings, and now rages even more violently than before. Perhaps they all feel the same way, exhausted just from trying to avert the advent of disaster. We are only one step from the abyss. Return from whence you came.
On the other side of the canyon, is that a crystal cluster that's growing?
Logos. No matter how many tricks they have up their sleeves, they cannot conceal the blood. I have removed the Confessorius illusions. Once we go over there, we'll find the real altar. The truth is within reach. However, the shadow is also approaching. It's cold. Way too cold. You feel the temperature abruptly change again. Before you know it, you're surrounded once more by a thick, swamp-like fog.
Sudaram! And were there this many?
This is the Naxara's last line of defense in front of the true altar. This is where Nasalam tends to stop us. He does not want us to get any closer. The element of the dead fills the air above the battlefield. Naxara's power is almost at its very peak. I have seen the dark clouds of death hanging on the horizon. If the scorching sun no longer shines, I shall cast a light that pierces the fog here.
Well,
Cross over to the other side. Find solace and destroy the blood of Tikas. May the wails of the dead find some quiescence. Logos lifts his hand and points to the other side of the canyon. The congealing mist parts once more. Very brief yet powerful. Logos seems to both be describing a physical action and uttering the incantation at once. Originium crystals surge like waves in front of you, stretching all the way to the other side of the canyon until they form a narrow but stable breach. An Naxara king will come for us, and someone has to hold him back. I will stay behind.
Logos, just you alone?
Amiya, do you still have the package I left with you before? Please give it back to me.
Of course, but
Good. With this, there won't be any problems. Now, go. Death is pursuing you. You run with all your might. Maybe its army is pulling you, monster is dragging you along, or Logos is pushing you ahead with his incantation. You hardly even feel your feet touching the ground, but it's as if 1,000 bony hands are growing from the midst, trying to latch onto your ankles. But the aura of decay fails to reach you in the end. A formless barrier envelops your body, keeping the haze at bay. You know that Logos' incantation is taking effect. In this moment, the Banshee's curse feels so gentle and warm. You hear something collapse, and looking in its direction. The bridge has disappeared, just as quickly and cleanly as it when it appeared. The thick fog once again teams forth, impatient. You search for that familiar figure, but perhaps he is too far, or perhaps because the fog is too thick, you cannot see anything at all. Is Logos in danger? Data is the decision that the elite operator Logos made. He has the right to make his own tactical judgments based on the situation at hand. He believes that it would be most beneficial for us to head to the real altar while he faces the Noxaros head on. It's me, Doctor. Do you trust him? Do you trust elite operator Logos? Yes. Then you should also trust that he will regroup with us when we are in need. I understand your desires, Scion of Decay. But death should not be so cacophonous. Quiet. The whistle pierces through the thick fog, the incantation spreading in ripples. Nothing needs to be spoken, nothing needs to be written. The concealed dead have nowhere to hide. The Sudaram's piercing shriek forms into a longsword that shovels through the fog. The words from the whistle quiver, and the Banshee's song resounds. Within the ancient bloodlines of the Sarkaz, in a valley choked with iridium amidst the lamentations of countless people who fell in battle. Flaming shells of witchcraft imbued rounds intertwined in the skies above the battlefield. A high-speed battleship crashes into a witchcraft bastion. A small number of Victorian soldiers charge ahead first, into an entire squad of Noxaros. The song grows louder and clearer. When that song reaches its climax, the Noxaros soldiers fall into silence and stop attacking one after another, like motionless flags. They no longer hunt. At last, death has returned to the land. Heroes come to answer your song. The withered branches retreat in unison. They coil, then lie down, returning once more to their long deceased forms. The most hideous and ancient among them still seem to be struggling unwillingly, finally twisting into a scepter. The tip of the scepter strikes the ground, and a figure emerges from the depths of the densest fog. Ethanil, the master of the Elgiac Corps. He chose to stay behind and face me alone. The corners of his clothes flutter as the fog disperses. The Sudaram's white robes are scattered across the dense white heels of withered branches. Long swords lie fallen and shattered, like grass in a forest. The young Banshee sits sideways atop the hill, his blood-stained fingers plucking at the bone whistle in front of his lips. Gentle, melodious. No, Nasalan. There is no such master here. Only Logos, elite operator Rhodes Island, dressed to greet our guest. I have crafted this opus upon death's motive, and I dedicate it to you. Wow. That was cool. That was cool. That was sick. I can't view the enemy. Oh, but I want to see. Petrified Sudaram attack rate increase. It's a new. And we get to play as Logos. No Logos. Alright. I'm probably gonna call it here for today. It is just 12. Just past 12. So, good timing. Well, it's a pretty decent amount. The size of kings has been connected to the altar. So yeah. I guess we'll get back with more Arknights on Tuesday. Although I'm at a good point to farm now. So I've got some good farming stages. So we're good. We're good for farming. Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks to anyone who happens to be watching. Anyone who's still here. Ipan, Max, if you're still here. Sarah Hikikomori, if you're still here. Anyone else who happens to be watching afterwards. I will be back on Tuesday for some more updates. Thanks again, guys. See you guys later. There's the mouse. There it is. Okay, bye.